Hey everyone, welcome to today's Program Yourself Thin podcast. Today we're talking about thinking beyond calories. When you want to lose weight, calories are absolutely important, but they're not the only thing to pay attention to. They're a main thing to track and be aware of, but there are so many different things that lead to the amount of calories that you're going to consume. Even if you're tracking and want to eat a certain amount of them, there's so many other things that are influencing how many calories you consume that are easy to manage so that you start to consume less calories naturally and comfortably. So the first thing we need to understand is that, yes, your weight is a reflection of the average calories that you consume over time. So calories on that level are extremely important, but the quality of the calories you eat matter. And then more importantly are the lifestyle and mindset factors that go into how many calories you're going to consume. So the first thing we want to do in order to reduce the calories you're consuming naturally and comfortably is to improve the quality of them. As you start eating more whole natural foods, you're going to find that you feel more satiated and full, and it's easier and more natural for you to consume less calories easily. And again, almost automatically. So that's the first thing. The next big thing, though, that most people really overlook is the lifestyle piece. And this is the one that I think makes the biggest difference on a physical level. Yes, mindset matters a lot, but it matters in terms of you creating the lifestyle that allows you to consume less calories. So the lifestyle piece is really, in Program Yourself Thin world, these habits in order. It is proper sleep, proper hydration, relaxation, breathing, nourishment, movement, meditation, and gratitude. These 8 habits, when you start to focus on them and weave them into your life, all tend to lead you to consume less calories naturally. Sleep is a huge one, by the way. That's one of the biggest ones. We're really learning so much about it. Sleep affects so much of your hunger and what you're going to do. So the better your sleep, again, it's a leveraged behavior. The more you focus on improving your sleep, typically the better your weight loss is going to go. Proper hydration levels. Most Americans are considered to be at least mildly dehydrated. And when you're dehydrated, it's easy for your body to assume that the dehydration is actually hunger. So the better you're hydrated, the easier it is to consume less calories. Relaxation. I think you know this one. The more stressed you are, the more you tend to eat. So the more relaxed you are, the less you tend to eat. And the breathing goes along with it. The nourishment we already touched on. Moving your body more just makes you more connected to your body, more kind of present. And that tends to lead to better eating behaviors. Meditation quiets the mind down, relaxes you more, connection to your body makes you more aware, leads to better eating. And then gratitude. The more gratitude you feel in life, you tend to make better food choices. So again, these are the main focuses. And as you start to concentrate on these areas, again, this is a more holistic, comprehensive approach, but the more you start to focus on these, the more it makes it easier to reduce the calorie levels. So this is how you think beyond the calories. And I believe that the more energy and focus you give to these areas, the easier everything else becomes. So I hope this helps you out. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask them. We'll get into them. Let's see here. I saw a question. I want to make sure I didn't miss anyone first. There's Tammy. What's up, Tammy? How's it going? If I don't sleep, I can bet I'll overeat that day. Yeah, exactly. Right. And I think that's the first step. You know, the first step to everything I was just mentioning there is really awareness, putting those two things together. Because I think a lot of times people have a real limited awareness of all these other factors. And you're sleeping like shit, you're dehydrated, you're stressed out, you're not nourishing yourself, you're not moving much, you're not meditating, and you're not grateful. And you're hungry all the time, right? And you're wondering why. And you're wondering why you can't stop yourself from eating. So again, this is a preventative approach. But the first step to really installing a preventative approach is to realize just how harmful all these factors are if you don't focus on them. Because, yeah, I noticed that with the sleeping. If I have a bad night of sleep or I have to get up extra early, I will typically find myself having to deal with extra hunger that day. Even if I eat the same stuff I always eat, my hunger level is just a lot higher. So I can almost guarantee it's the same for you. And it's all those things that you factor in. But what it does is it gives you the ability to start to see more of the picture. I think if we just look at calories, which I think is what most dieters do, they just look at the top level. Okay, how many calories am I going to eat today? But you're missing a lot, and that's making it really hard for you. Because if you're setting yourself up for failure and then trying to control the calories, it's really hard. I always use the metaphor of your lifestyle, which all those factors I'm talking about, those lifestyle factors. It's like the gas pedal and the brake of your car. And when you want to stop your car, the first thing you do is ease off on the gas, right? But when you want to lose weight, all you do, it's like you're pressing full down on the gas, but then you're trying to stop the car by pushing all the way down on the brake. That's how you're losing weight metaphorically. And it's a lot easier when you kind of ease off on your lifestyle, when you start getting some better sleep, hydrating yourself, relaxing, on and on. And you start improving those lifestyle factors. Again, it's way easier. That's how I'm trying to say to you. So yeah, I agree, Tammy. A bad night of sleep is definitely going to show up, I think, for sure. Yeah, Chuck saw. Yeah, thanks for the July hypnosis session. You're welcome. Yeah, that's out there, everyone, too. So if y'all want to get the July session, I just put that up on TikTok. I'll post it up on Instagram as well. Moses says, hi, I bought some fruit smoothies for a healthy breakfast. Great job, Moses. Nice job. This is what we're looking to do, Moses. So again, you're in such a great spot because I know you did the carnivore thing and that was intense, but now you know what not to do in the sense that it's not about, yeah, you lost weight, but again, we're looking longer term now. And if you learn that now, you're very lucky because I work with people that are 50, 60, 70 sometimes who haven't learned that stuff yet, so it's a huge advantage. The earlier you can learn to stop focusing on fast weight loss and start setting yourself up for long-term weight loss, you're very, very fortunate. And so, yeah, the idea of starting to work with fruit smoothies for breakfast, and again, I don't know what you're worrying for breakfast, but that's probably a big improvement. And that's probably an improvement that's sustainable. You know what I mean? It's probably one that you'll probably like. You'll get used to it. You'll enjoy the flavor of it. You'll enjoy the benefits of it, the weight loss effects of it. And it'll probably something that'll be easier for you to do than just eating meat for the rest of your life. Most likely. And so that's what you do. Again, it's just small, systematic, strategic improvements over time. It's no different than anything else you would get good at, a musical instrument, a sport, a skill, a hobby. It's just something that you get good at over time. And if you approach your weight that way, it's such a paradigm shift. It's such a different way to approach it than how most people do. So that's great, Moses. Proud of you. Myra says, do people treat you differently after weight loss? I mean, the biggest thing that stuck out to me with the weight loss is the people I knew and loved, family, friends. And it wasn't so much the weight loss as much as it was the behavior changes. So when it came to my family, I wasn't eating like them anymore. So that created some, people don't think about this. Like, to me, weight is all about the subtle game. It's not the calorie counting. You know what I mean? Like if weight loss just came down to like knowing what to do and having a plan, and then you would just follow it, like no one would be struggling with weight loss. There's 5 million plans out there. It's the subtle things that most dieters never acknowledge and deal with. And one of the biggest challenges when you want to change your weight is how it's going to impact the closest relationships in your life. Because if you're overweight, there is a good chance that your family and friends, the people you spend the most time with, you probably eat in a way that's made you overweight with them. Probably, right? There's always different stories, but that's a common one. And it was for me. We bonded over food. In my life, my family, food was the fucking main number 1, 2, and 3 thing we did. It was always food related. And so when all of a sudden I'm not eating like they were, it threw things off. And with my friends, it wasn't so much about eating at that time. It was much more about the drinking. So it's like I stopped the drinking like that as well at the same time. And that totally threw off the relationships, Now the family one, we got through it. It was a rough patch though. It was hard. It was very difficult because again, and I think you'll see this a lot when you go to lose weight, if your partner, if your family, if your friends, if they're not doing it with you, they're not necessarily supportive, even if they want to be. It's just hard for people to support someone because it makes them, when you start eating healthier, living healthier, losing weight, it's like you're holding up a giant mirror to your family and friends and people in your life, whether you mean to or not, even if you don't talk about it. They see you doing different stuff. They see you, eventually start losing weight. It looks different. It makes them feel bad about themselves typically. So, it's just another way to reframe. When people don't really support you the way you think they should, and they rarely do, a lot of times that's a core of the reason. It's not that they don't want you to be healthier and happier and all that. It's that everyone thinks about themselves, And so for me, that was the big thing is that, people were, looking back on it was real hard because it wasn't support that I expected to get when I started doing this stuff. People would say, what are you, a health nut now? What are you going to start a cult? When I started teaching this stuff, I started teaching it pretty quick. Even just casually, amateurly. But no, I wasn't getting support. Luckily, I had my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, and that's all I needed. But yeah, basically, I left my friend group and I kept my family, but I detached a little bit, from it. So it was more that I wasn't treated necessarily differently because of the weight loss. I wasn't that heavy. I mean, 50 pounds is a lot, but it wasn't, I heard people say different stuff, you know what I mean? Little, shitty comments people say about people that are heavier, but, that was never as big a deal as what I just mentioned. But yeah. So I know it is July. So yeah, if you get that session, it's again, that session's built for July and the way things go in July, So yeah. So very good. The whole crew. I see Jonathan. I just want to make sure I didn't miss any questions. Because as you all know, this doesn't just show the questions. It shows what every single person has joined or had left. Jonathan says, I'm so scared of extra skin after weight loss. I know it's not that important, but still. No, it's fair, Jonathan. I mean, it's a real thing. And I think a lot of people deal with this on some level. And I always say the same thing, that just take it out of the background and look at it honestly. Look at it with your full brains and say, okay, I am nervous that I'm going to lose skin. I don't want it. You can say that. Okay. We got to acknowledge we're not going to try and bullshit ourselves. You can't bullshit yourself. Your brain's your brain. You have different parts of it, but they all know what's going on. Okay. There's no bullshitting yourself. So we pull out and say, I don't want loose skin. I'm kind of nervous about it. I don't want that. So you can go about things in a way where it minimizes the chances of you having loose skin. And I believe you're kind of young anyways. I wouldn't be too worried about it if you approach the way we're talking about here. But if you lose weight slowly, strategically, and you're younger, a lot of times that's going to handle the skin. Sometimes not. Everyone's different. But we put that up. Well, worst case scenario is I'm going to lose skin and I'll be at my goal weight and I'll be healthier and I'll be happier and all this other stuff. Or I'm worried about the loose skin, so I'm just going to keep the weight. I'm going to stay overweight. Thanks, Letty. So we make a decision though. You know what I mean? We look at it. We consider it. We look at it from all angles and we look at it honestly and we make the decision where we want to go. That's kind of the best way I've seen forward, because sometimes things aren't what we want them to be. You know what I mean? Like it's like that the whole time. I mean, I've done this with food a lot too. Like food, it's like, well, I really like eating that. I do like eating it, but I really want the body more. And so I'm going to change how I eat this. And so a lot of this is almost negotiating with ourselves, but negotiating in good faith, in goodwill. So I don't want loose skin, so I'm going to do it that I can avoid it. But even if I have it, and this is where most of my clients end up with, even if I have loose skin, I don't give a shit. It's way better than being overweight. 95% of the time I got clothes on, no one even notices it. And I still look a lot better. I feel a lot better. My, everything improves in that way. I wish I didn't have loose skin, but taking everything into account, I'd rather have the loose skin and be at my goal weight than this. But you've got to make that decision for yourself. You can't just say, oh, don't be a jerk. Who gives a shit, loose skin? You can't ignore it or beat yourself down with it. You got to genuinely look at it and make a decision based on what you think is ultimately going to be the best choice for you. But I get it, and I saw, Moses says, yeah, eating meat for 8 months straight was horrible, but that was the thinnest I ever was. Yeah, I get that, Moses. So I promise you can be just as thin as you were. Well, again, even the goal weight thing is something you're navigating the whole time, because remember, your goal weight ought to be the weight that gives you the best quality of life. And so, how do I figure out the best quality of life thing? Well, you got to take two things into account. We got to take the weight that you want to be and the size you want to be and all the benefits of that. You're going to look better, you're going to feel better, healthier, all that stuff. But then we also got to take into account your quality of life, living and eating that way to create that weight. That's the key part that most dieters just skip, because they think, well, fuck, I'll eat meat. I'll hate it. It's gross, but I'll be the thinnest I've ever been. Well, that being thin is not going to override your quality of life just eating meat if you don't like it. And most people do not like that. It's a fucking weird thing to do. We're not carnivores. God, I mean, it's as basic a scientific fact as there can be, folks. We are not carnivores. Anyone want to argue that? I mean, you just have to look at teeth and digestive tracts. And it's not a carnivore. I mean, there's just biological definitions and classifications of things. Anyways, so when we want to figure out a goal weight, we've got to take into account how we need to eat and live in order to achieve the weight. That's just as important. Folks, if that didn't matter, then you wouldn't be here listening to me, because you would have just followed the diet and done it because you just want to be at the goal weight, and that's all that matters. Clearly, what you eat and how you live matters, or else you'd be doing your keto plan, your Weight Watchers, your counting calories, your 1,200 calories a day. So we've got to take that into account. Sorry. And so this is the navigating. What am I willing to do? Where do I have the best quality of life? And that best quality of life is somewhere between the weight we want to be and the health we want to be and the foods and lifestyle we want to live. And we got to figure that out. That's part of the process. So yeah, again, and that's the big lessons you've learned, Moses, is that being my thinnest wasn't enough to override the fact that I didn't like eating just meat. And that's going to exist no matter what diet you do if you don't like the diet. And so that's why I say start to create an eating plan custom made for you that works for you. Okay. So that not only can you weigh what you want, but you're doing it in a way that really resonates with you, you know? But it's a process, you're figuring it out. So, but great job. I mean, you're asking better questions. You're just on a whole different path, Moses, than you were. You're in the game, Moses, I used to eat bacon and fried eggs, but huge portions and always something sweet right after. Yeah, I get that. I used to eat big ass breakfast and then I'd eat donuts, croissants, whatever, muffins, something, a dessert, breakfast dessert, right? So I get it. So Moses, so having the smoothie is a big deal. With the smoothie though, I wouldn't just drink a smoothie. So don't do the thing, where we just go. That's the thing, to get out of the diet mindset. You got to get out of the pendulum of extremes. You know what I mean? That's what we can get out of. So a smoothie is a great suggestion, I think, to start off with, but it probably won't be enough for you. So you might want to have a source of protein. Again, you could put shit in there. I'm blanking on the name. It's not acai berries. Why am I blanking on this? I can't think of it, but it's the little seed things you can put into smoothies. I can't believe I'm not thinking of this word. Someone help me out. Anyways, so I don't want you to. I wouldn't recommend just like having a smoothie, even if it was protein enhanced or enhanced somehow with that stuff. With flax seeds. Jesus Christ, thank God. Flax seeds. You put flax seeds and now thicken it up and make it like a chia seeds. That's what it is. Thank you. It's chia seeds, not flax seeds. All right. So yeah, I wouldn't necessarily. Thank you, everyone. Oh my God, right? You have like that itch. You're like, what? Okay. So yeah, chia seeds, because chia seeds will make like pudding. You know what I mean? It makes it a lot thicker and it's a lot more filling. And so that's a way you can go, but that's a liquid breakfast. And for a lot of people, it just feels a little weird. So for me, it's like when I was doing smoothies, I still had smoothies and then I would have toast and peanut butter. So it's like I like chewing and eating something. So my point to you is that let's not get on the swings. Yeah, if you just had smoothies, would you lose weight quicker? Perhaps. But again, this is building things for the long term. So, you could have a smoothie and, a fried egg, and a piece of bacon. Again, because we're thinking in phases, but pay attention, Moses, respect your hunger. Maybe the smoothie just satisfies you and it hits it perfect. Cool. But if you start like, the smoothie's not enough, don't be like, the smoothie's not enough. It's not going to work. That's what I want you to avoid. If you can get out of those mindset, folks, this is all of you dieters, because you dieters are so black and white, all or nothing. The point is we try different things. We get a sense this kind of works, it doesn't work, and we build on it or we do something different. And if you can adopt that process over and over and over again, 3 months, 6 months, a year from now, you are in a completely different position than you've been. Because with dieting, it's basically, I always think it's the hamster wheel. It's like you feel, and you are doing a lot of stuff. You're doing, okay, I'm going to count calories. I'll do this. And then it's like you stop, you're in the same place. You know what I mean? And dieters could be dieting for decades. And it's like, you're still in the same place. You're still overweight and you still don't really know what to do to lose it for good. So the secret is to figure out, okay, let me add some smoothies in. Because why am I adding smoothies? I want to add more fresh food into my body. This is a great way to do it. But not just that, you know what I mean? Maybe you still need some protein, you still need a little remnants of your old breakfast. So again, be flexible with it and play around. It's all experimentation at this point, Moses, for you. All right. But I am so proud of you for trying different stuff. You're quickly became one of my favorite people on this, Moses, because again, as I've said before, anyone that can realize when something they're thinking isn't right and improve it, I'm always impressed by that. I think it's the most important skill, mindset wise, to any of this. Thanks, Peyton. Look at these questions. So caught up on chia. John Larry, yep, exactly. My fiance can eat fast food and stay thin as always because he never had any food problems. Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like there was the person here yesterday, and it's like if you never had any food issues, like not that you don't have things to teach too, because I forget his name now yesterday, but not that he doesn't have things to teach. He does, that we could learn from. You know what I mean? Everyone can learn from. But there's different people that like have had different situations, if you know what I mean. And so not ever having a food problem doesn't mean that they can just eat everything like in a weird way, it does mean they can eat everything they want, but it's because of the way, it's what they want. It's the way they think about food. It's the way they've kind of been brought up, the experiences they've had. So you have to recognize that there's a lot to learn from your fiance. Like, I guarantee you. But you have to learn it in a slightly different way because your brain's different than his brain. You know what I mean? It's kind of the way to think about that. And your bodies are similar in the sense that he probably is not eating. He's not eating what you're eating. I bet. And at the same way that he's at, and you're at a different way up here. You guys aren't eating the same amount, and you're way up here with the weight, and he's down here. I know it. What happens is the way he thinks about food, the way he responds to hunger, all the rest of it, it's different, most likely. So, but we're all different, so we have to figure out for ourselves anyways, There's E. Hi, Jim. Canada Day yesterday. Had 2 pleasure days this week. Gained 4 pounds. I'm still proud of myself. Reprogrammed my way with PYT. Thank you, Jim. You're welcome, Ian. That's brilliant. Went from being scared of checking my weight to now using the scale as data. Massive mental changes just happening naturally. Like how? Yeah, that's what happens in the program because I'm filling your head with all good stuff. Again, you just take it for granted because you've lived in this crazy society your whole life that you can't even see how crazy it is. That's literally why I get out here every day. This is my mission. And it's like, if I can just get this stuff out here every day for you all to hear, it lets you realize how crazy the diet mindset is, and then if you do get in my program, it's just this on, I want to say steroids, but it's beyond that because what I'm doing is, I always say it's like a cocoon. It's immersion. It really is an immersion program. Immersion programs are great. Tony Robbins is a big hero of mine. His big thing is he does immersion programs. He does like 4-day immersion programs. And I never like that. I'm going to be honest. I don't like that. I didn't like it and I won't ever like it because I don't like that stuff. And that's one thing he does that I'm not a big fan of. I'm a big fan of his programs that I listen to at home simply because I know, I love Tony. But just like anyone, there's good and bad stuff to everything. I don't love the immersion program model at all. I think it's manipulative, to be honest. And I love Tony. But I think you can get people into an environment and you can hype them up beyond belief, but then they go back into their environment. And so I promised myself I would never do that. Not to say that I will never do retreats for people that are clients that have a home-based system primarily. I think there's value there. But to bring you into a setting where I immerse you for 4 days, I would never do that. I think I don't like it. That's why I've never gone to one of his things like that. I won't do it because I don't like that feeling. So with Program Yourself Thin, the immersion thing is great, okay? But I want to create an immersion setup for you in your normal environment because most of your food behavior is related to environmental cues you're not even aware of. So I want to fill your brain with lots of good stuff in your normal environment, in your normal situations in life. And that's what I've done. And I think it's very elegant, to be honest. The way the program's set up, it's like a cocoon. You start the day with a 5-minute hypnosis session in the morning. Each day, it's a different session for 8 weeks. And big news for Thrive Pro people, for people that are clients that have been in the program before, and you got all those daily sessions, then it ends and people kind of redo them. The good news is starting next week, we're going to have all new sessions coming out. So if you join the Thrive program, I'll send you info on that. But I finally decided, I figured out how to do it was the big problem. But yeah, starting next week, if you choose to do it, if you're already in the Thrive program, you'll get it. But yeah, every day it'll be new sessions and that'll be going on for a year. So it's important to have new, fresh sessions every day. Even if it's the messaging's a little bit redundant, that's helpful too. It's got to be different. You can't listen to the same hypnosis session day after day. It becomes less hypnotic. So I'm really excited for you all that are in the program anyways, that I now, you will have literally, for as long as you choose to do it, you'll have fresh new sessions coming to you. So anyway, and then there's nighttime sessions in the program as well. There's, hypnosis. But the point of it all is that people in the program that listen to all the sessions and do the program, you start thinking differently and it creates these natural sort of effects where all of a sudden it's not a big deal for you to step on the scale. All of a sudden you just have an outlier day and it's a holiday and it's like you enjoy yourself. No big deal. You get right back on track. So that's how things can be, and certainly you can achieve it just listening to this podcast. And obviously, just it's rocket fuel when you get the program. But great job, E. Yeah, big fan. And E's awesome. Again, the people that do the best on my program are the people that put a lot of work in already. My program, I never recommend this as the solution of first resort. No one starts their weight loss journey with my program. You finish it. So it's like if you've tried diets for decades, then my program is really good because you take all the things you've learned, we bring it into the program and we customize them to you, and you start utilizing all that experience and wisdom and things you've learned. So, and he's like that. He's done tons and tons of work. And so now she is able to just use it in a more practical way that's relevant for her. And so super proud of you, Ian, and you're awesome. What's up, Ronnie? How's it going? Discovered yesterday that my worst night eating habit is overeating because it has historically felt like a warm safety blanket for me. How to break down habits slowly but effectively. And in changing habits as an overthinker, what sort of exercise could I create so that I don't get fixated on the problem and on the negative, focus more on the solution? Well, that's a big question. I mean, that's what we spent a lot of time in the program on. I mean, that's one of the core, again, when it comes to mindset and programming self, then we follow the weight mastery pyramid, which is mindset on the bottom, lifestyle, eating on the top. Okay. So it's these three things. And so the mindset piece is 6 categories. It's your self-image. It's motivation, your self-image, habits, emotions, thinking, maintenance. But habits is the big one. They're all the big ones, but the habits is a big one because most people, when it comes to their habits, are just trying to fight against their habits. They're trying to use their willpower to override their habits. And that's why it doesn't last long. What you want to be able to do is understand how your habits work neuroscientifically and strategically shift and change them up so that they work for you, or at the very least, they don't work against you. So that's a big long-winded answer to say that this is hard to talk about in a podcast. There's more background information you kind of need. So what are we saying? Well, let's talk about, you get to a core point, right? That you can know, oh, I get this bad habit I eat at night. Then you can logically know, okay, that's a bad habit. I shouldn't do that. But the good news here for Ronnie is he's gone a level deeper and he realized there's an emotional subconscious association to that habit. This is true for all of you. Whatever bad habit you have, you're doing it for a positive reason. And that positive reason is subconscious when you're probably unaware of. So Ronnie here's figured this out. Ronnie says, I want to stop eating at night, but it feels like a warm security blanket. Great job. Okay, that's the awareness we need at first to solve this. So the eating at night after a hard day of work feels like my warm security blanket. So it's not that you know that getting rid of the snacking at night is better for my weight and my health, but subconsciously, emotionally, it feels like, yeah, but I'm giving my warm security blanket. Fuck that. Fuck the weight. I want my warm security blanket every night. And this is a much better description of what's going on than, oh my God, why can't I stick to a plan? For exactly this reason, So what do we do about that? Well, I mean, without getting too deep in the weeds on what habits are, your habits they're very pattern oriented. You eat at the same time every night. You kind of go through the same stuff every night. And being an overthinker, your programming is on hyperdrive. So if you're in the program, one of the things we would do is we break that down into categories of, because your habits there's a habit loop. We would break it down into the loop and we would figure out, what was triggering it, what the behavior was and what the outcome was that you were looking for. Well, feeling like a warm security blanket is part of that. Okay. So we would start to find what are some other ways you can feel that sense of having a warm security blanket. Because the food, yes, it feels like a warm security blanket in the moment you're eating, but then it doesn't. Then it feels like an itchy blanket, an itchy horsehair blanket, right? The extra weight, you don't like it. You're mad that you ate that way. You don't feel good. So yes, it feels like a warm security blanket while you're looking forward and eating. And then as soon as 6 seconds after you take that last bite, that security blanket turns into a horsehair blanket that makes you feel uncomfortable and itchy and scratchy and, you don't like it. So again, it's all how we think about things, but I hope that helps you. I've given you a little bit here, but and I would tell you, if I just had a quick, easy answer, I would tell you, but it's that's one of those things. Listen, again, I always say to people, stop trying to change everything at once. Let's focus on your worst eating habit. Let's really deep dive into your worst eating habit. Because if we got rid of that one habit, Ronnie, if magically you never ate again at night, or you never ate unhealthily at night ever again, let's magically just assume that, where would your weight be? I mean, I don't know how much you're eating at night. You might be 6 months from now, you might be 20 pounds lighter, 30 pounds lighter. A year from now, you might be 20, 30, 40 pounds lighter. So if you could stop focusing on trying to change everything all at once and overwhelming yourself, and instead fixate and focus on your worst eating habit, you're getting much better results. It's a way smarter approach. So Shireen says, that's awesome new program. It's not a big deal that I ate a whole eggplant dinner last night. It's not. What did I eat last night? Last night turned out to be okay. I ate later than I normally do, but it was good food my daughter made, more cheese than I typically eat, but it all ended up fine. But I don't even today I'm on vacation mode. I got my new driveway going. I'm so excited. It's so fun to watch. I'm so excited about it. My kids are off of school. I'm fixing some stuff up. I was going to like, oh guys, I'm gonna get you some donuts. They're like, we don't want any donuts. I said, okay, well, I've already thought about donuts, so I'm getting a donut. So it's like, again, it's not what we do the 20% of the time. It's what we do the 80% of the time that really controls our weight. So again, I know this sounds so weird to you dieters, but really the secret to mastering your weight is the ability to get back on track quickly when you make a mistake. And the biggest part of getting back on track quickly when you make a mistake is to not blow it up into a huge deal. It's not that big of a fucking deal. God, you dieters is just live and die by what you're doing in the moment to moment. And every little mistake you make feels catastrophic, And so, again, a big hallmark of a Program Yourself Thin client is when they make a mistake, and we're always making mistakes, we're able to absorb it a lot better, and just get back on track, because you're always going to make mistakes. And you dieters, think about that. You crazy brains, you think you're just going to, you think the diet brain is so silly, but it's like, you think that you're going to start your plan on a Monday and just be perfect until you reach your goal weight. It's just the most asinine thing. And you would have never thought that on your own. You've been conditioned, brainwashed, hypnotized by the diet industry to think this way. And they want you to think this way because they don't want you to lose weight. Gasp, Jim, the diet industry doesn't want to lose weight. Of course they do. It's the diet industry. No, the diet industry is owned by the food companies. Weight Watchers was owned by Heinz. Jenny Craig was owned by Nestle. Atkins Food Products owned by the same company owns Auntie Anne's Pretzels and Cinnabon. Slim Fast owned by the same company as Ben & Jerry's ice cream. They don't want you to eat less of their food. You ever heard of business? It's all about making as much profit as you can. No one goes into business to convince people not to buy their products, right? I got a degree in business. I know this. We learned this. A joke, but it's crazy, isn't it? Thanks, KT. It's just crazy. And so your brain's been filled with rocks and mashed potatoes for decades about how to lose weight. And you wonder why you have no fucking clue what to do. There you go. Again, this is one of the reasons why I got out, just to show you this stuff. What's up, Publesha? Says, just wanted to say thank you. This is the longest I ate clean. I went crazy last weekend and binged after eating healthy for 3 months. And honestly, I realized it's not worth it at all. Yeah. Great job. Great job. Great job eating clean for 3 months, and then better job binging and realizing a bunch of stuff that I like eating better. I like it when I eat clean, but I don't have to eat perfect either because I like eating clean. And then sometimes I'll eat shitty, but I still want to eat clean because I like eating clean better. And there is the big difference, folks. Imagine that. See, because that's why the diets, that's what they do to you. Let's talk about this, okay? Because this sums everything up in a nutshell. The diet industry has conditioned you because you think you love the food so much. You think you love the cookies, the cakes, the processed food, the fast food, the junk food. You think you love it. And so every diet you go on is framed as you love these foods, but you got to stop eating them so you can lose weight. So you still love these foods. Subconsciously, you have the association, junk food, fast food, crap food, bullshit food. I love it. I love it. It's so good. I love it. I love it. I love it. Diet time. I got to stop doing the thing I love. Got to stop doing the thing I got to love. I got to use my willpower to stop myself from doing the thing I love. That's a diet in a nutshell. That's why it doesn't last, because you never change these subconscious associations. Thank you. It's a short-term temporary thing. Program Yourself Thin, what we do is we change this association. You start to realize, yikes, the food I thought I loved really isn't that great. Holy shit. And it's like waking up out of a trance and realizing, oh, the junk food isn't that great. I feel like shit afterwards. I say this every day to you. You've been hypnotized by the food industry to concentrate. There's 3 phases of eating: anticipation, looking forward to it; consumption, eating it; and the consequence. You have been hypnotized by ads. You've seen tens and tens of millions of food ads in your life. You see tens of thousands of them every day. And they're all focusing you on the anticipation and consumption of the food. That's how you think about food. You think about getting ice cream, you think about getting it, eating it. You never think about the consequence. If you think about the consequence, it's, I shouldn't eat this because I don't want to gain weight. That consequence doesn't mean shit to your subconscious mind. You need an instant consequence. And good news for you, there is an instant consequence. No, it's not the physical thing, because you feel like shit, but you don't realize it because you create a tolerance. It's like a drug addict. If you take lots of drugs at first, whoa, but after a while you build up a tolerance to it. The same thing happens with shitty food. So you feel like shit, but you don't even realize it. Okay, so let's skip the physical part for now. What I'm talking about consequence-wise is mental and emotional. Mental is, what are you thinking? After you finish the ice cream, what are you thinking in your head about yourself, about what you just did, about your weight, about your health? What are you thinking? It's usually not positive. Are you saying, oh man, I'm really glad I ate that ice cream. That was great. I feel better now. And now I'm ready for tomorrow. I'm going to thrive. I ate great all day and I'm glad I topped it off with a pint of ice cream. That was super. Is that what you're saying to yourself? Okay. And then there's the emotions. What emotions come 6 seconds after you finish whatever it is, binging, fast food, junk food, eating, bullshit? How do you feel emotionally? Do you feel fired up, excited, motivated, successful, encouraged, inspired, passionate? Or do you feel frustrated, depressed, angry, pissed off, guilty, ashamed, embarrassed? It's not up for me to tell you what you feel because I don't know what you feel. But me bets, I've been doing this for a while. I bet you feel pretty shitty mentally and emotionally, and you feel shitty physically, but you just don't realize it. And so as you just start opening your eyes and paying attention to the consequence phase, the thing they've done their best to make you not think about and focus on, you naturally start to create this new association that those foods are okay sometimes, a little bit of them, but when I eat a lot of them or even regular, I feel like shit. That's the big difference. Because once you realize, oh, that food makes me feel like shit, I don't want to eat it, your desire for it goes down. And now you naturally eat less of it. Whereas when you go on a diet, if anything, the desire cranks up your desire for those shitty foods even more. You know what? The diet industry knows this because when you try and restrict something, it comes back even stronger. So anyways, just one more reason why Program Yourself Thin is the #1 weight mastery program on the planet. Ronnie says, based on what you said, how could I apply visualization of how I would want my ideal self to handle my maladaptive night habits to reprogram my subconscious mind without ruminating on what I did wrong? Ronnie, I got to tell you something. You got a way with words. You got a wonderful vocabulary. I don't know why you're not in the program because it's built for you. Again, my program is built for overthinkers. Typically they're educated people, with very good vocabularies, because having a strong vocabulary gives you an ability to have more gradient understanding, more granular understanding of what's going on. And the more you can break things down into granular pieces, the easier it is to manipulate them in the direction you want. So I got to tell you, Ronnie, I don't know. I'm using all nice words that I love hearing. You just don't know how to use them in order to control your weight and your behaviors. But that's just an aside. All right. What I said, how can you apply visualization? It's not so much about visualization, honestly, as well, by the way. Visualization's big problem is that it highlights the visual modality more than the kinesthetic and auditory modality. So it's more about what you're saying to yourself and what you feel than it is what you see in your mind, But anyways, yeah. Well, who's the ideal Ronnie? What's the ideal Ronnie say at, I don't know what time this all happens. Let's just say it comes around 9:00 at night. And so it's about understanding it first, but how you say things to yourself and feel something in order to create that behavior. You're just not aware of it right now because it's going on under the surface. But I'd start paying attention. What happens at 9:00? How do I get myself to feel like that's a security blanket, a warm security blanket? What does the ideal me think at 9:00 at night? What would the ideal me think at 9:00 at night? It's not just what you do, because what you do, it comes out of what you say to yourself and what you feel, then you behave. And so it's kind of breaking it down to what you're saying and feeling right before you go towards the food. So, yeah, he says, I was in a trance and didn't even know it. I'm a go-getter David Goggin mindset, but I feel PIT has been a calming experience. Yeah, you need to be calm. Again, if you're David Goggins or Jillian Michaels, you wouldn't be listening to me. Do you know what I mean? So again, I'm not saying that there's not a place for those people in that approach. There certainly is. It's just probably not for you all. And it's not for me either. So I'm right there with you. I can't do that shit. David, yes, you can, Jim. You can do it. Come on, you just got to want it. Whoa, David, I know myself. Thank you. I know me and I know myself very well. I could get hyped up for a week or two and nah, that's not me. I'm not that. Look, you guy, great job. I did this with Tony Robbins 30 years ago. I was like, wow, I want to be like Tony Robbins. I said, I ain't Tony Robbins. Came to find out he got a tumor in his brain. That was helpful for me to know. Geez, why am I not like Tony? How come I don't have as much energy as Tony? How come I don't want to do what Tony does? And I find the guy's got a tumor in his brain. That's what made him grow. He was 6 feet tall. He grew like 1.5 feet senior year of high school because he's got a tumor in his brain. And so it probably affected him in other ways too. He's brilliant anyways. Don't get me wrong. I'm not taking anything away from him, but he seems to have a lot more energy than I got. And so we got to recognize who we are in this process, but again, a lot of you are not David Goggins and you're trying to force yourself to be that way. David Goggins is David Goggins, and there's people that are like him. It's probably not you, he's an outlier persona. And so don't try and be that to himself, yeah. Publisher says, so true. The emotional after you've eaten. This is so deep. Rewiring my pain and pleasure associations to focus on the consequence. You're incredible. Thank you. Yes, thank you, Publisher. You're another one. I always say, again, I'm not here to sell the program, but when I find people that I know are going to do well with it, I make a point of it. Because I can tell some people really get what I'm saying. You know what I mean? And so I say, hey, listen, there's this magical solution right over here. If it doesn't work, it's guaranteed anyway. So whatever. But yeah, that's what it is. We're rewiring our association. We're reprogramming ourselves. The program yourself then is reprogramming your subconscious mind so that you think, feel, and behave like a thin and healthy person naturally. And so that's what I'm after. I want you not to just lose weight. I want you to get to your goal weight and then live the rest of your life of your goal weight on near autopilot. That's my goal for you. And so that's a different goal than you ever hear, and it requires a different strategy. And Publish, that's exactly right. That's exactly it. Ronnie says, sorry, this word count is me testing the best of my vocabulary. Well, you got a very good vocabulary, so that's great. So let's see. I see. Oh, there's Julie. Hey, Julie. Julie says, processed foods numb my taste buds, and I forgot how delicious real food is. Have you tasted a peach lately? Oh my God. I hear you. I hear you. And I hear you. I am in my, I want to make more content for this. I always think about it after I've eaten something, but it's like, I'm on my another real food arc. I joined the CSA, which is a community supported agriculture. So basically you go to a local farm, you pay them some money and you get food every week, for the growing season. And so I'm getting fresh. And they got part of pick your own with it, so I picked a bunch of strawberries a couple weeks ago, and it's like fresh picked food from an organic farm. I mean, it's like, oh my God, it's the Garden of Eden, folks. We all live in the Garden of Eden, but we're not taking advantage of it, and this is it to another level. But that's what I'm talking about. It's not about most dieters. It's about what you can't do. And I want you to realize that this really, the way I think about it, is what you can do, what you can put in your body, what you are able to eat. And when you start really looking towards healthy, whole foods that taste so amazing, that's the path I'm talking about. So, yeah, agreed, Julie, definitely. Vicky says, overate chocolate last Thursday night and last night, but stopped and listened to yesterday's podcast and was happier. Good job, Vicky. And that's just what it is. I mean, you're all going to overeat and choose the wrong foods. That's just what happens. It's not a big deal. It happens, and you absorb it and you move on, better version of yourself. It's kind of the deal. Jonathan, thanks, Jim. You're right. Even if I lose the skin, it's so much better than being unhealthy. Yeah, great. And you just get used to stuff too. I know we all want to look perfect and whatever, but in the absence of being able to look perfect, I just want to be as, healthy and live as long as I can be. I want to look as good as I can, as well. So again, I will tell you too, I'll just share this with you. I don't know, take this or leave this. I don't know, but attractiveness and how you look is relative to your situation. You have to understand, like, we're always grading on an absolute scale, which is so unnatural. In the normal world, for millions of years, the way we lived is we lived in small groups of people, and all those people looked like us pretty much. You know what I mean? We all shared the same genetics. We had the same skin tones, same features, same height. It's similar anyway, similar. And now all of a sudden, last 100 years, everything, is starting to spread and intermingle, and there's modern media. So now what they do is they take what they define. Okay, this is beauty. This is what beautiful is. And they give us this definition of what beautiful is. And maybe it's symmetrical faces, whatever you want to say it is. But we've been bullshitted that, oh, beauty is this thing here. And it's bullshit, and it's up to you to decide if you want to believe that or not. But at the end of the day, how attractive you feel, I truly believe comes down to basically, for the average person, it comes down to one person. As long as the person that you want to be with, if you choose to be in a relationship, as long as that one person finds you attractive, who gives a shit? What do you need? The whole world to think you're the most beautiful person on the planet? Like, it's weird. And so you, John, you got a fiance. I'm sure that he loves you regardless of your weight. I hope. And that's just another message. I hope you all want to be in a relationship where it goes beyond just what you look like. I can't think of anything worse in the world than being in a relationship that hinges on what you look like. That'd be a nightmare to me, but we all get to make our own choices. But if you're a person in a relationship, who gives a fuck what anyone thinks about how you look other than that one person? And what that person's looking at is not just this, Oh, you have wrinkles? Oh God, you got loose skin. Oh, forget that. It's relative. Are they healthy? Are they alive? How's their energy levels? How their moods? How's their mindset? How's their actions? How do they live their lives? How are our adventures we go on? What experiences do we share? I mean, is it not like this for everyone? Like, I know there's shitty relationships. I understand that, but I know most of you. I know how most of you are. Do you not think this way? We've been like, I mean, we've been bullshitted up and down the fucking ladder. I mean, we just live in we've been raised by corporations. Let's just be honest. You know what I mean? Even if you had wonderful parents and family in a village to grow up in, you've still been raised by corporations, and it's crazy. And so we've been bullshitted our whole lives about everything, but certainly this area. And as far as like how we feel about ourselves, you know, there's a concerted effort by billion-dollar industries to make us feel like shit about ourselves in each and every way that we possibly can. And so that's why I say mastering your weight is two things. It takes two things. There's action, changing your lifestyle, your eating, so you can get your weight where you want it to be. And then there's fucking acceptance, because you have to make acceptance its own thing, because we live in a society that naturally and automatically is making you feel like shit about everything about yourself, everything. And so you have to fight against that. And it starts by, again, I think, really just turning this fucking shit out and saying, okay, who's actually in my life that matters? And again, it's going to be the relationships that are most important to you. And I'm going to assume those people think about your beauty and attractiveness different than a stranger. And a stranger that doesn't think you're beautiful, fuck them. Who cares? You know, who cares? Gives a shit. Moses says, what do you think about buying my goal size clothes and keeping them in closet for motivation? Does that work at all? It could. It's just, it's an extrinsic motivation. It could potentially be helpful. It's a tiny little piece of it, so it's not going to make a difference one way or the other at the end of the day. But again, it's up to you. Get it and see how it makes you feel, Moses. That's what I'd say. But go back to the experimentation. If you internalize the value of experimenting on things, that'll be more important than whether you buy that clothes, outfit, or whatever. You know what I mean? So go buy the outfit and then see how you feel. You either feel excited and motivated, or you feel discouraged. And then we go from there. You learn something about yourself. This is the beauty of what I'm telling you. You all don't even know what to do. So it's not like, oh, I'll tell you what to do I can't tell you what to do. You don't know what to do. And so it's not about knowing what to do and then doing it with the dumbest diet bullshit in the world. I don't know what to do. Just gotta get myself to do it. No, you don't know what to do. You don't know what to do. Okay. So we try different things and we see how they work. It helps or didn't help, so go do it and see what happens. But that mindset's nice though, right? They don't have to figure everything out anymore. Jay said, I remember I would fast 3 days at a time. Now I can't even miss dinner. Yeah. Same here. I used to do the long-term fast and it was a nightmare for me. You guys all knew the chia seeds. Thank you. Chia. Mara said, oh, wow, dieting for 8 months straight. Moses, you had to be really motivated. And I'm sure Moses was really motivated. Yeah. Yeah. I was very excited to see the scales drop. Yeah. But then I reached my goal and started to binge. Very depressing. Again, not unusual, because most dieters trade the pleasure of the food for the pleasure of the scale going down. And you get, well, what's going to motivate you to do something crazy once you get to your goal weight and you don't have that weight loss to look forward to? Okay, and that's all about understanding dopamine, but we factor that into program yourself then, because it's an important piece for sure. Yeah, Marcy said I did the same thing. Yeah, people do it all the same. And again, I'm impressed. To get to 8 months really is an accomplishment of what you're capable of. But now you learn from that. So this is the message to all of you who have stuck with a plan for 3 months, 6 months, 8 months, a year, 2 years, and then just faded away. Okay. I want you to feel good about it. I know you feel bad about it, but I want you to feel good about it, because it proves that you're a person that when you believe in things, when you're properly motivated, you can take action and get amazing results. Okay. But then I also want you to look at it and I want you to learn from it. I want you to learn what not to do. And what not to do is to stop bullshitting yourself. You knew the whole time, like, I don't know how long I keep this going. I don't know how long I keep this going for. You didn't like doing it. You convinced yourself you did. And it was stressful. And I want you to learn from that. And now as you commit to your weight mastery, you take into account, how do I feel about what I'm doing to lose the weight? It's not enough just to lose the weight. I have to feel at least somewhat comfortable with what I'm doing to make the weight loss happen, or what's the point? And that's the most important lesson you can learn. And you guys can learn it more powerfully than anyone. So you're in a great spot. Just make sure that you utilize it properly. Okay. Maya says, gosh, I want to have that thin mindset naturally. Can't believe people are born that way. Yeah, but I mean, yeah, listen, some people are born that way and some people have to learn it. Who gives a shit? It doesn't matter. Just don't worry if you want it, create it. You're not that person, but you can create it. Yeah. Limit or avoid processed food as a general rule. Absolutely. Can't go wrong that way, I don't think. Vicky says, happens when you're pissed and frustrated, but then I tell myself it's time to move forward. Yeah, of course, Vicky. Vicky's referring to like she overdid it with the chocolate. Yeah, folks, listen, like the idea that like the eating thing, it's even the emotional eating. Like if you're a stress eater, right? And it's like, what do you think? You're never going to get stressed and overeat again? Like it's such a weird thing. And this is why the diets are setting you up for failure, because they set up a unwinnable goal, So, Chanteller, I don't know if I'm saying that right. Chanteller. If you want to find out why you do the things you do around food, this course is for you. It's a deep dive into unraveling your self-sabotage. Wonderful course. Well, thank you. Appreciate you saying that. That's exactly what that's why I always like when my clients say this stuff. They describe it better than I do. Yeah. If you want to find out why you do the things you do around food, this course is for you. I couldn't say it any more clearly, because you don't know. You're approaching things on such a superficial, childish level. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I know what I'm doing to lose weight. I'm eating too much, so I got to eat less. That is like, I always say this. It's like saying like, oh, playing the piano, that's easy. You just hit the right keys in the right order at the right time. Sweet music. And it's like, asshole. That is the dumbest, most meaningless explanation for how to play the piano that I ever heard. It's like, yeah, technically on the most technical level, that's true. But in reality, that means nothing. And that's what all you dieters do. That's why you say, oh, I know what I got to do. I just got to get myself to do it, Jim. Well, what do you got to do? Tell me, please tell me what you got to do. Oh, I got to stop eating carbs. Oh, okay. I got to stop eating for 16 hours. All right. I got to just eat 1,200 calories a day. That's how I got to lose weight. Okay. Such vague fucking, it means nothing. Nothing. We need a comprehensive, holistic strategy with subtle little things we change over time that lead to big changes. That makes sense. Moses says, I love yogurts and dried fruit. The only healthy food I always ate. Yeah, that's great then. Yeah. What kind of yogurts? Were they flavored or just Greek? Oh, usually some type of fruit flavor. Yikes. Yep. Jonathan. See, Jonathan, now look where you are. Now you're the teacher, huh? Jonathan was a student. Now he's the teacher. Check those fruit flavored yogurts in general are basically little sundaes, like ice cream sundaes. So you should be thinking of like, I don't want to say the names. I don't want to get restricted. But if you look at a yogurt that comes in a package about this big and it's got this stuff on the bottom, it's like I don't know if like you could go, I don't know if McDonald's, I've been there in a while, but sometimes McDonald's used to have a thing where you could get a vanilla sundae or whatever flavor you want, and they put strawberry sauce all over it, right? You don't think of that as healthy, right? You think of that as a sundae. The yogurt's the exact same. It's just a sundae, but instead of ice cream, it's a yogurt. So be careful of that, because that's a trick thing. So if you get like a Greek yogurt or a yogurt that has no added sugar to it, and you add strawberries, fresh cut strawberries to it, well, that's healthy now. Okay. So just be careful of that. And watch out for dried fruit, because you can eat a ton of it and it has a lot of sugar in it when you eat it that way. Sandra says, hi, Jim. Would you say that over time, everything becomes easier and becomes a habit? Oh, absolutely. I'm afraid that I'll forever have calories in my head and be burdened by it all forever. No, listen, you will do that until you find something better. The brain gives a pain for learning. As soon as we learn something better, we let go of the old thing instantly. I don't use calories at all. I never have either, but I did it much more in an intuitive way. And I use that word with big ass asterisk around it. You can't intuitive eat, folks. You don't know how to intuitive eat. But I went about this in an intuitive way, saying, I don't ever want to count calories. I hate counting calories with a passion. So I need to figure out a way to get my calories in line with the weight I want to be. And I did it by stabilizing my eating. I structure my eating. I have a very similar eating. I eat the same breakfast Monday through Friday, the same lunch Monday through Thursday, the same dinners Monday through Friday, week to week. It's not the same thing every day, but week to week is very similar. It's in the ballpark of the same types of food, same calorie ranges, same quantity I eat. And then my pleasure days are different, but they're the similar week to week. So I stabilize my eating. My eating is very consistent week to week. And so because it's stabilized, my weight's stabilized. And when your eating is stable and your weight so you eat a certain way and you know how you eat kind of week to week, you eat kind of similarly, your weight kind of ends up wherever it ends up. Now you can strategically look how you eat and say, okay, where do I think would be the easiest way to cut some calories out? And so without knowing exactly how many calories are things, I can look and say, oh, okay, I'm drinking a beer there. Okay, well, maybe that's something I could cut down. I'm eating, a bag of cookies there. I can work on cutting that down. So you can be strategic. And so that's how I went about it. So you do not have to count calories. And I think counting calories is a weird thing to do anyways, and all kinds of weird stuff associated with it. But Mario says, I'm going on vacation in July and I'm terrified. I know this is the dieter mindset, but I'm scared to really lose control because I want to have fun and eat new foods. Mario gives a shit. I mean, how long are you going for? So eat your face off for a week. Who gives a fuck? Eating like crazy on a vacation for a week is the equivalent of eating really well on a diet for a week. It means nothing. It means nothing to your long-term weight loss. And I'll be there for a while, so it could impact my weight. Well, so a while. I don't know how long you'll be there, but yeah. Yeah, you don't be terrified because so here's an example of programming that we all do automatically. So Mario's not in the program, but Mario's programming himself. He's not even that overweight, but you would think Mario's 100 pounds overweight the way he talks, but Mario's a catastrophic thinker. But anyways, so Mario's still programming himself, right? Because he's imagining this vacation. He's terrified because he's imagining himself eating everything. That's programming, folks. We all do this. We constantly pre-program ourselves and live on autopilot. And so he's anticipating and programming and imagining and visualizing that he's going to go on vacation just to eat everything and put a bunch of weight on and get totally out of control, lose the whole path and be overweight forever. So it's programming just as if he imagined going on vacation, being relaxed and calm, enjoying some different foods, having a great time, a better time than he's ever had because he's eating different foods, eating what he wants to do, enjoying himself, but not going crazy, not stuffing himself full. Not going nuts. And then thinking when he gets back, I'll get right back on track too, because I got these habits and things in place. So we're always programming ourselves one way or the other. The question is, do you know how to do it or is it being done to you? Nara says, oh, sweet music, asshole. Is a quote I think of every time someone says calories in, calories out. That's perfect. That's perfect. Right. But sometimes you got to call it what it is. Right. So it's like, yeah, I use language like that because it's funny to me. Right. Ronnie says, what are your thoughts on eating until 80% full? Saw it on a longevity documentary. Eating until you're 80% full, I think is great. I think, again, we have learned how to eat. I was just reading about Japan, and Japan is the only wealthy country that doesn't have an obesity issue. Their obesity rates didn't go up. And after World War II, they had a national agenda. Intentionally, they wanted to train people to eat in a healthy way. So Japanese people are taught within their culture in all different places to eat in a different way. And I don't mean mindfully. I mean, there's a lot. So I try to share this with all you as best I can. The reason I weigh what I want to weigh is because I eat in a healthy, good way, not because I have willpower. It's not a willpower thing. It's a mindset thing. I've learned so much about food and how to eat and all the different factors that affect. I've been studying this intensely for 30 years. And so it's the way that I think about all these things that allows me to act the way that I act, that allows me to be the way that I want to be. It's not that I think all the wrong shit and I just fight against it with willpower. I can't stress that enough. And you've got to realize that because that's your diet. That's what you think as a dieter. You think all the wrong shit, completely wrong, by the way. You dieters think everything fucking wrong about food. And then you think you're going to use some magical willpower to fight against all that forever. And it's so silly. I can't even, I don't have the words to explain it, but anyways, that's a long story short, but yeah, the 80% full thing I think is great. And I think the way we eat is something we've learned primarily. We are beautiful human beings, can learn how to do things. We do have, again, don't get me wrong. We've got instincts that we've developed over millions of years of evolution to overeat in this environment, no doubt. But we can override those with our prefrontal cortex. We're smart people. And when you learn how to program yourself, you can program yourself to, I live in the same world you do. I eat totally different. I used to eat differently. I learned how to think differently. I eat totally different now. You can do the same thing. And so, yeah, if you want to eat to 80% full, I think that's a great strategy, but it's something you have to practice. It's just like if you want to learn to play guitar, I don't just say, okay, this is an A chord, this is a B chord, this is a C chord, this is a D chord, E chord, F chord. There you go. You're done. You know the guitar. Because you know what you got to do? You say, oh, can you go back to the A chord? What was the A chord? Wait, where are your fingers? And then you'll try and do it. And you'll have to go like this with the other hand and put them on the right string because you have no muscle memory. You have no understanding what the hell I'm saying. So again, you dieters forget that. You think being told what to do is the whole story. It's just the beginning. You've got to practice. So knowing you should eat to 80% full sounds great on paper. Being able to do it consistently is a whole nother thing. And most dieters have no way to practice that because they'll say, okay, from now, I saw a documentary, I can eat 80% full. That's what I'm gonna do from now on. They do it for 2 days. Then the third day they eat to 100% full. It's, oh man, I was doing so good and fuck it. So you got to practice stuff, Stars for Life. Is hypnotized magician work? I'm genuinely asking him to understand. Is hypnotized magician? I'm not sure what that question is. I don't know what that means. Carrie says, absolutely. That's why for a wedding, I did not stress myself to lose weight. He loves me, period. There you go. Right. And by the way, I think that's such a nice mindset to develop anyways, right? That's a better quality of life thing, but to start feeling loved, to start feeling like enough, to start feel content with yourself, to love your body, to be grateful for it. This is a huge part of the program too, because you've been taught to hate your body. You've been taught to be critical of your body, to notice every little flaw, to make things up, to exaggerate, to maximize everything, to feel like shit about yourself, basically. And so you've really, again, a huge part of Program Yourself is changing that around. So you start to feel good about yourself, to love yourself, to feel like you're enough, because you are. Even if you're overweight, okay, folks? Your weight does not define you. And anyways. User 1318 says, you're so right. Well, thank you. And I know this is about all the feeling good about yourself and people that loving you. I could talk about that all day. Carrie says, now I'm learning from you and figuring it out for long term. Yeah, exactly. And it's a different motivation. Yeah, there you go, Carrie. Because Carrie says it's for health and mainly to live longer, which is great. So again, I think there's nothing more depressing in the world. And I truly mean this, and I'm going to say it as soon as I fix this thing on TikTok, is I think there's nothing more depressing in the world. Someone's like, oh, I'm going to lose weight so that person likes me. You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong. Like there's aspects of that are important, but the idea that your main motivation is that you're going to change everything up so you can look different so that someone will now like you, I think is so depressing. And not to say that doesn't somewhere fit into the scheme of things, but for it to be the only and main thing is just a depressing thought, because I think it just sets you up for long-term failure within the relationship and just in life and how you think about yourself and all the rest of it. So I think that the people you want to be with you should demand that they love you regardless of your weight and what you look like. I know there's a physical attraction. I get it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying it doesn't come in at all, but they can't be the only thing either. A little balance. So many women have said I should dye my hair so I would lose the gray. Yeah, good for you, right? My dad used to use Grecian formula. I just think it's so funny. It's like, it's just funny. Anyways, I don't want to get into that. I should talk to my dad. But I say, and again, I'm not judging if you dye your hair either. Do what you want to do. But I do think that this society, we got to balance ourselves out a little bit because God, it's just, anyways. Gray hair is awesome. Well, I'd like to hear that because I'm going gray. My eyebrows are next. But yeah, but like I said, it is that balancing act of accepting yourself, you know what I mean? And loving yourself for who you are. That's a full-time job, because just like the weight thing, it's a war. It literally is a war to take control of your health and your weight and to love yourself and feel good about yourself. They're literally two full-time wars you have to wage, because the entire society is fighting against that because they just want to sell you bullshit. They want to sell you food. They want to sell you diets. They want to sell you bullshit. So, there's, that piece of it. And then they want to sell you, everything else. The shittier you feel about yourself, the more shit you buy, John says, you're absolutely right. I don't love people based on their attractiveness or weight. Exactly. And other people feel the same. And if they don't, because I always said to you, right? Like, you don't judge people just superficially only, if anything, people have perfect physiques. You probably your first reaction is probably like, oh, that's not my type of person. And there's nothing wrong with that either. Okay. But it's like, you probably judge people in a more holistic way, and other people judge you in a more holistic way. Some people judge you very superficial. I've had people judge me superficially. Listen, I'm out there in the world, right? So I get to see the dumb shit. People say, oh, people listen to him. Look at this guy. He's skinny fat and he's got fat face. And it's like, okay, what are you going to do? There's always dipshits out there, but they're dipshits. Fuck them. You know what I mean? Like, if someone's just judging you just purely superficially, fuck them. I want them to not like me. You know what I mean? Because I don't like them. I think that's shallow and stupid. So, you know what I mean? Like, hold on to what you believe in. Fuck those people that think the only thing that matters is what you look like physically. That's how I feel about it. Moses says it's hard to feel good about it because I wasted so much of my time dieting and then binging, and I'm still back where I started. Yeah, but Moses, you're not back where you started. I'm trying to tell you this. It's I'll give you a story. My son has, I'm out doing I was doing some painting, and he's talking to me, and he goes, I want to play video games. I said, yeah, okay, but you got to read a chapter of your book there and you can play video games. And he goes, oh, good. Okay. And he goes, oh, it's a really short chapter. I said, okay, you got to read 2 chapters. Right. And then he says, what? And he starts being an asshole, basically. And I said, listen, and I talked to him. I was calm and relaxed. I said, okay, whatever. And so then I go, okay, you know what? I'm like, now you got to draw and you got to play 10 minutes of piano too before you can play. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not. So I said, okay, now you got 3. You got to read 3 chapters. I said, want to keep going, whatever. Right? He's like, this isn't fair. I said, listen, it could be a lot worse. It could be a lot worse. Well, how could it be a lot worse? I said, well, there'd be no Xbox. The TV gone. You never play again. Nah, this is bad. This isn't fair. This is. I said, listen, just do what you're supposed to do. Let's just move on, right? Just do it. I'm like, you can do it all in a half hour and you'll be playing games 12 o'clock, whatever. So he keeps it up. He keeps going. I say, fuck it. There's no video game for the rest of the week. No video game for the rest of the week now. No matter what you do. You can read the whole book. You can read 10 books. You're not playing video games the rest of the week now. So to you, Moses, you don't realize how bad things can get because you're seeing things from your perspective. So you're thinking your perspective is like, holy shit, I did all that work for 8 months and I lost a bunch of weight and I put it right back on. I'm right where I started from because you're looking at where you're at right now. What you don't know that I do know is that it can get a lot worse. You could keep doing that for the next 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. I'm going to ask the people that are here, can you write down how long you've been trying to diet and lose weight for, if you don't mind? Can we help Moses out a little bit here? Can you please just write a number? How long have you been dieting and trying to lose weight and been unsuccessful with it? Please let me know how many years you've been at it for. Let me know. Because I've been working with these people where it can be 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. How long y'all been trying to diet and lose weight? How many times have you lost weight and gained weight? How many years have been going on where you lost weight, felt amazing, put the weight back on? How many years? 50 years, half a century, 20 years, 38 years. You see what I mean, Moses? 30 years. Do you see what I'm saying? You young bucks, right? Look at the young bucks here. We got Jonathan, Moses, Mario. I think you're all in your mid to late 20s, right? So it's like, this is what happens. Dieters get fixated in the moment. Oh my God, I lost all the weight. I put all back on. I blew it. You didn't blow anything. Please learn the fucking lesson now. You're still young. You're at the beginning of the game. Joan, I'm 76. I'm on my first diet at age 12. Holy shit, right? 64 years. And Joan's a smart ass person. These are all smart people. So you see what I'm saying? It can always be worse. Do you see, Moses? So learn that lesson now and learn from that. All of you that are younger that feel that. And if you've been doing it for 40 or 50, fucking learn it now. If you're for 30, 40 years, come on, learn it now. Okay, get off the planet. So I try to tell you, I talk with people in their 80s sometimes that are still struggling with this. You know what I mean? So I know it feels, because again, we experience things relative. Just like my son. He knows now. And then we got to the end of it. He starts reading. He goes, what if I read this now? I said, that's too late now. So again, yeah, absolutely, Moses, you can still change everything around. You know what I mean? You're in the perfect spot to change everything around. Like literally, I'm not just trying to make you feel better. You're better off now because you had that experience last year, because you had that extremely painful experience of doing something so extreme and it not being able to keep it up because you didn't like it. It didn't resonate with you. It wasn't an approach that was built for the long term. And if you learn that from that last year, I would trade any of these people, I bet, that just wrote 38 years, 50 years, 64 years, they would gladly trade a year of committing to carnivore, losing all that weight, then putting out and realizing this so that they could have spent a year and a half to learn the most important lesson you can learn, that you got to build your weight mastery around you. It's got to start the first day in a way that feels comfortable, calm, relaxed. This is why people join I've been noticing we had a bunch of people join last couple of days. And I say this all the time because my program's the only program people join on a Friday in the middle of a vacation week. Why? You're not going to start a diet this week. You start my program because why? Because you're going to start tomorrow by listening to a 5-minute hypnosis, relaxing, calming down, thinking differently. Do you know what I mean? But I'm trying to make this point to you that the way you start defines the path you're on. And so if you don't want to start your plan because it's too overwhelming, it's miserable. People want to start my program because it feels nice. That's the difference. You can feel nice and lose weight and control your weight. So if you learn that lesson now, Moses, it's the most important lesson you could ever learn with your weight and your health in your whole life. And you can always remember that. And so, you know what I mean? So it's so much of what we do is about framing. How are we framing things? How are we looking at it? You know? And so there's a little bit of lessons for you there with that one, right? Yeah, and everyone's saying it too, you know? Yeah. Paul says, I need a gym before he was born. For sure. That's why I wish I go back in time. I always joke. Someday I imagine writing a book like Saving My Father, because clearly, obviously, my dad died at 54 of a heart attack when I was 9. My whole adult life, obviously, it doesn't take much psychoanalysis to realize, it all stems from that. But so much of this is exactly, to me, this is life and death. I want y'all to live as long as you possibly can, the best quality of life you can. We got Moses here. I mean, I don't know how old Joe Moses, but say mid-20s. But it's like you got a long life ahead of you, most likely, regardless of your weight's going to be. You get a good 50, 60 years, probably, regardless. And it's not just about the lifespan. In a lot of ways, it's more about the quality of life during those years. Because, spending those 50 years, God damn it, mad at yourself, dieting, struggling, going back on it, feeling like shit that you did. It's like, that's the stuff that's your life. You know what I mean? The moments are your life. And a lot of people, that's why I do this every day. That's really my main passion. I do want you to live a long time for sure, but I want you to have a good quality of life while you're here. And I think being in a diet mindset it makes me so mad because so many good ass people, like I love my clients. So I love all of you, whether you're in the program or not. I know you're all smart, good people. And nothing makes me more depressed to think that you're going to spend a majority of your life feeling bad about yourself because you haven't been able to handle on your weight. And because you feel like a failure because of that. And you don't realize it's because you never learned how to do it. And that's literally my mission in life, but that's why. Now we all need a gym. That's what I'm here for. Again, you know what I mean? Like I do think I'm bringing something different to the game, and I'm very passionate about it because this is why. Yeah. Jim says many of the same things that my therapist says. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I am not a psychology major or therapist. I'm a coach, and I like that distinction. I run on the edges of psychology. I read all of it, and I study all the different systems and approaches, but I've been able to do things my own way too. And I think that there's, you need outliers in the world, you know what I mean? And again, I think there's a time and a place for therapists and all what they're doing. And I think there's a place for what I'm doing too, because I think I bring a little bit outside of the box thinking. And I think that's what we need when it comes to the weight loss piece of it, for sure. Moses says, my worst fear is struggling with weight my whole life. I'm 32 and haven't figured it out fully, but trying. Yeah, Moses, I get that. And that's exactly my biggest fear for you and for everyone. That's exactly what I'm giving words to, is that because I know you're all trying. You know what I mean? Like someone was on here yesterday, like, oh, I think it just comes down to laziness. That's fucking bullshit. I can tell you that 100%. I've done almost 6,000 private weight loss. I've been doing this 20 years professionally. I've met a lazy person yet to join my program. It's worked with me. None of them are lazy. The problem is you have not learned how to master your weight. You don't even think in those terms. All you've learned is how to use knee-jerk, overwhelming things to lose weight quickly that you can't sustain. And so weight mastery, again, ironically, is way easier than weight loss, but you've just never learned to think of it in this way. So yeah, Moses, again, at the very least, you just show up. You really, again, if it is your worst fear, you get the program. Let me just say that real quick. And I only say this because we use language that doesn't really represent what we really mean sometimes. If your worst fear, if you could resolve your worst fear for $300, you'd probably do it. You know what I mean? So again, just little ad from a program. So Ronnie's 23. I don't know if it's 23 years been working on it. You're 23 years old, but could you please make a video on body image? I was panicking the other day, but then I went into meditation, and the minute I relaxed, the perception of myself changed in the mirror. Yeah, of course, Ronnie. That's why, listen, folks, in Program Yourself, then the cornerstone of the program is hypnosis, but it's not hypnosis the way you think. It's not just the programming stuff. It's the state of hypnosis. hypnosis and meditation are the same thing. Okay, Ronnie's 23 years old. So obviously body image matters a little more for you. Now, listen, I'm not going to argue that when you're in your 20s, how you look matters more than when you're in your 50s. Okay. There is a reality to that, I think, but I mean, shit, I made this decision when I was 19. You can make decisions for longevity at any time you choose. And those are always going to be the more powerful motivation. But back to the hypnosis. Hypnosis and meditation are similar states of being. We're utilizing them differently, but it's a similar thing. So you all need hypnosis and or meditation because you need something where you can calm down and relax. You don't have this in your life, most likely. You're stressed constantly and you have no way to bring yourself down to a calm state consistently. It's like brushing your teeth, right? Every day you're kind of starting from scratch with your teeth. And when it comes to your tension, stress, relaxation levels, you're not bringing yourself to a calm, relaxed place every day, most likely. And so what's happening is your stress levels just keep inching up and up and up and up and up and up and up. And it affects everything. The way you think of yourself, the way you think about things, food, your behaviors, everything's impacted by that stress level. And so with Program Yourself Thin, it's systematically built into the program that you're consistently, whether you hypnotize yourself or again, you're going into you're listening to hypnosis sessions, which sound like guided meditations, basically. So you're going to this calm, clear, centered place within yourself where you're relaxing your muscles, you're breathing more deeply, you're quieting your mind, you're bringing your attention inwards. And that process alone is extremely helpful. It's one of those leveraged activities. The more calm and centered and relaxed you get at least once a day, it tends to start to show up in your behavior as well. So again, not surprised, Ronnie, that helps you out, makes you feel better. It does most people. I hear that all the time. The relaxation is a huge part of the program. Hey, congratulations, Moses. Moses says, oh my God, I just checked my healthy yogurt. It's 22 grams of sugar. There you go. But Moses, you missed this stuff last week, but I literally just went through this with Jonathan. And so, Moses, you got a whole life ahead of you. And that's why I was saying in the beginning, I think the most important skill you've exhibited is that you can recognize when you're wrong and correct it, because that's literally the whole process for us. Our heads have all been filled with rocks when it comes to food. There's so much money made of us being overweight, sick, and unhealthy and unhappy. And so we just don't see things for what they are. So much of the process of getting healthier is seeing things more accurately. And it starts with what we're eating. And so, yeah, great job, Moses. But now you realize that now you can make better decisions. Okay. Know better, do better. That's just the process over and over again. I'm still doing that. Yeah. User 908 says, Moses, I'm in my 50s, just understanding my behavior now. You're in 20 years ahead of the game. That's a great way to think about it. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. Jonathan said, yeah, Moses, we're eating the same yogurt. But again, Jonathan and Moses and all of us, this is the process. It's like, oh, and all of a sudden it dawns on you because you're like, this is how you start. You're like, well, okay, I'm eating a lot healthier. I'm eating yogurt now. That's what you think, right? And so you think it's really healthy. And you're like, why am I losing weight? Why do that's changes? And then you're like, wait, something, or you hear me say something, it's like, oh shit. Now you realize it though. So now again, you're less ignorant. You can see things more accurately. Now you can make a better decision. And I promise you, Moses and Jonathan and me, all of us, oh, okay, Moses, that's great. I never checked nutrition labels before, honestly. Yeah, you've got to become nutritionally literate. Just start paying attention to labels. And by the way, it's not a forever thing. Once you get a base understanding of nutrition labels, and if you use this in terms of structuring your eating, where you're eating similar things relatively week to week, you don't have to check nutrition labels forever. But when you're making decisions about what you're going to eat, you do. Okay. So you want to like check nutrition labels when you're creating your eating plans. And then once your eating plan's kind of developed, you don't have to do that anymore. Same with the counting calories, the same type of thing. Okay. But Moses, yeah, that's a huge one. No, I don't count calories. And I'm not a huge recommender. I like to use this calibration tool. So same type of thing. I think checking your calories for a couple of weeks, it depends where you're at, but checking your calories for a week or a couple of weeks, depending on where you're at, just so you can educate yourself. Like, oh, I thought that was low calorie. Jonathan was famous. I always joke with Jonathan because a week before you got here, he would be like, oh, I even overeat the healthy stuff. I said, what's the healthy stuff? Chicken. What kind of chicken? Fried chicken with lots of sauces on it. Okay. So that's not healthy. And if you check the nutrition labels, you would have looked at fried chicken. You'd be like, oh my God, it's 1,000 calories. That's a lot. I thought it was 200 calories, so again, it's that calibration game. You're calibrated, and most people are, you're conditioned to be calibrating. You're thinking about food, you think, oh, it's not that bad for me. Oh, yogurt's healthy for me. You know what I mean? You're thinking these things. That's a huge part of why people struggle, is because they think they're doing all the right stuff. And this happens to all of you. If you're a dieter, this is happening. There's just levels and levels and levels and levels to your thinking that are fucked up. Just like this. Just like you're looking at yogurt thinking it's really healthy. Nope, 22 grams of sugar in it. You know? And so you can't even see what you're doing wrong. Diet, it's all like this. This is why you weigh what you weigh, and you're not happy with it. You know? Ms. Raven C, do you eat by hunger cues mostly? No, I don't. And I know that's that's not the normal thing to hear, but I do not. I structure my eating. So I eat a very structured way. So my clean eating days, I usually eat 3 meals a day. I usually eat around 8 o'clock, 1, 2 o'clock, 5 o'clock. And again, there's a little flexibility in there, but that's basically what I'm eating. On the weekend, I'll usually eat 9 o'clock, 5 o'clock. And so I eat at the same times. Thing is, I know what foods to eat that get me from 8 o'clock to 1 o'clock comfortably. I know what foods to eat to get me from 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock comfortably. So yeah, I don't eat by hunger cues, because turns out I can always be hungry. As soon as there's a donut or cookies or ice cream in front of me, hey, what do you know? I'm hungry. You know, so I don't trust my hunger in this environment. So anyways. Yeah, it's so incredibly easy to eat lots of calories. Yeah, absolutely. Even my store-bought smoothies are super high in sugar. Yeah, Mose, I was going to tell you that. I didn't want to let you down because you're doing something positive. But so it's like, yeah, the smoothies, that's what I'm saying. They're basically, they've turned them into, healthy milkshakes to some degree, without milk maybe. But, again, anything packaged it's just, because listen, they're in the game of selling food. And what sells food is sugar and calories and stuff that tastes really good. It's just how it is. So that's a whole nother part of the game is calibrating your taste buds. But Moses, I want to see now I got to point out, I want to point this out with Program Yourself Thin. A big part of why we really use so much of the hypnosis is it keeps you calm. Because I can tell you, Moses right now it's starting to dawn on him. And this is how it feels for all of us in some capacity. As it starts to dawn on Moses, he's like, oh shit, I thought that was healthy. Oh, it starts to feel overwhelming. You're like, oh my God, I don't know anything. You fight that all the time when you're trying to change something in your life or learn something new. You will feel discouraged and stressed out really fast. You will freak out, basically. You'll feel overwhelmed. And as soon as you feel that, you want to just quit and get the fuck out of there. This is why we need to have some way to calm ourselves down. Because it's like, oh my God, Jesus Christ, everything's got sugar in it. Everything's got lots of calories. I can't eat fucking anything. I don't know how I'm going to do this. Right? Ever felt that way? And so we feel that way. And now what do? You're probably just going to go to the food. You're, fuck it. I don't know. I can't do it anyways. I can't do this. Food. Okay. So what we need is there's other ways to do this, but the way that I think works the best that I use and for my clients is you start feeling the way, hold on, relax. Just, okay. All right. I'll figure this out. I didn't get this way in one day. I'm not going to fix it all in one day. Let's just relax. Let's make a healthier choice in the next thing I'm going to eat. But it's that process of bringing ourselves down. It changes everything. You can't think those positive thoughts on top of that stress foundation. So anyways, yeah, it's eye opening to track your calories for a while to get familiar. Yes, absolutely. Carrie says it's so true. It's just so true. Miss Raven says, what about not clean days? What's that? Yeah, those are my pleasure days, and I use the word pleasure very specifically. I don't call them cheat days. I don't like that term at all. And there's a lot more meaning with pleasure days, very specifically. Food is fuel and fun. And so I like to, I got my fuel days where the food's primarily fuel, primarily. I don't eat perfect. I don't eat only for fuel and only for fun rarely, but it's mostly clean. I want it to be clean, and that's what I'm aiming for. And my pleasure days, I want to enjoy the food as much as possible. That does not mean I eat as much as I possibly can in my body. It means, what's the sweet spot? What food do I enjoy the taste of the most? And how much of that eating it kind of is a sweet spot? So I don't want to overeat. I don't want to overdo it. I want to eat what I really enjoy in just the right amount. Where's the maximum amount of pleasure? So it's a very specific pleasure definition I use. Moses says, I felt like such a health nut, 48 grams of sugar in one. Again, Moses, I was going to give you that one for today. I was going to let that one go, but I'm really proud of you for looking into that. Okay. I was going to bring it up, but I didn't want to. So I want to let you have your, And by the way, Bo, this is, I talk about this a lot. And I just realized I missed a bunch of Instagram quotes or comments. I'm going to get to those in 1 second. But I say this, eating better is on a spectrum. And this, again, I speak to these dieters. It's like, you don't go from where you're at and being overweight and struggling with food and all the rest of it, just eating perfect. It just doesn't work that way. And so it takes small little wins we build on. So I know Moses said I drank a smoothie today. I know the first thought in my head, I'm like, I bet it was a sugar one from the store. Literally probably was 45 grams. I was thinking 45 grams of sugar in my head. Right. But I'm not saying that to him. I'm saying, hey, great job having a smoothie. Doesn't just have to be a smoothie. You can also have other food. Right. Cause it's like, I want you to just have a smoothie and feel good about it. Cause at least it's better. A, you change something and that's hard enough. So great job. And B, in your head, it's something healthier. Good job. Right. But now here you are. The jig's up, right? You got 40 grams of sugar in it. It ain't that healthy. Okay. But we build on our wins. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to happen all at once, That's funny. Yeah, you're working on it. That's the big thing, right? That's the key thing. Let me go over to Instagram. Miss you guys. Yeah. Yeah. He says, I went from listening to you here to your program, Jim, and I realized it was the program that took me to this magical place. The way I talk to myself is a game changer. Thank you, Jim. That is true. For all you listeners, you regular listeners that are on the fence to get in the program, E was saying that the eating blueprint alone, she was saying, was just like the worth the price of it. I mean, it really is. It is a whole other game. Again, I know I'm not trying to do a sales pitch, but if you are on the fence, the program is a lot more stuff because A, you're committed more to it. And there's just a lot of stuff in there that I can't go through here because this isn't the place for it. People here are just casually checking in typically. Even if you listen all the time, it still is a more casual level of things. And when you invest money into it, you take it more seriously, then I know you're going to do now you're at the level where you can do the actual work, so yeah, I agree with you on that one. Victoria says, just eat less bread and you will be thin. You guys are making it too complicated. Well, again, we always have to get someone goofy say something. That's goofy, Victoria. I've been thin all my life and I just don't eat much bread, but everything else is okay. Well, guys, I sorry that I've been making it so complicated. I guess new change of plans. Scratch what I've been talking about. Victoria here has been thin all her life and she just doesn't eat much bread. So Jenna says, hello again. How about more hormonal cravings before and during period? It's not vacation, but it's 4 days every 4 weeks where I can't control my cravings and stop myself. How to program my thinking. My eating is normally completely healthy, but there I can easily eat an extra 1,000 calories in chocolate and do it 10 minutes later again. So great. That's so perfect for all of us to understand that we all have things that we're dealing with, right? And if you're a woman, you probably got your period and it's affecting you every month. There's a whole cycle of cravings before, after, there's all these effects. So the first step is you acknowledge them and you become aware of them. So great job. The hardest part you've done. The next part is you say, okay, how do I want to deal with this? Because I think what a lot of people do is say, okay, I'm always going to eat the same. And then the cravings hit hard and I'm still going to eat this. I'm not going to eat chocolate. Then you eat one piece of chocolate. Now you eat 1,000 calories of chocolate. Okay. So I think we take into account that week before my period, I'm extra hungry. I have extra chocolate cravings. How do I want to deal with that? And some will be like, I'm going to allow myself to eat chocolate. Not 1,000 calories of it, maybe 300 calories of it. And then on top of that, I'm going to take a hot shower. I'm going to go for some walks. I'm going to do a little extra meditation. Maybe I'll get a massage. Maybe I'll, whatever, read a book, whatever you find relaxing. We want to find some other things, but it all starts by realizing during that week before my period, I'm extra tired. I'm extra hungry. I'm extra moody. I'm extra pissed off. I'm extra whatever. What are you? Everyone's a little different. What am I? And how can I deal with that? I don't want just the food to deal with it. I will use a little bit of food to deal with it and give myself a little bit of grace during those 4 days, but I don't want to eat 1,000, 2,000 calories of chocolate those days. So I want to get a handle on that. And I will do that by eating high quality chocolate, the best chocolate I want to eat. I'm going to allow myself to do it, but I'm also going to do these other factors to help manage it as well. And then you start there, see how it works out. Julie says, I love the daily hypnosis sessions. I'm automatically eating healthier foods than a small amount of dark chocolate or ice cream here and there. That's great. Yeah, the daily sessions, I know that's the best part. It's really not. I mean, the whole program, there's 3 main parts to it, but I know the daily hypnosis is one of the most accessible pieces. And I am on the fence. At one point, I may sell the program, just the hypnosis. I've always hesitated to do that because I don't think that just the hypnosis is enough. But maybe I'm wrong with that. So I don't know. That's something I'm considering. But even again, I know the hypnosis daily is the best part. And I've always wanted to keep it going beyond 8 weeks. And so I'm so excited. Like I said, next week that's starting. I'm committing to it now. So next week, all of you in the Thrive program, you'll start getting the daily hypnosis sessions in the morning. So I'm excited for that because I know it is the best part. Yeah, it says it's just so annoying that during my period, some second person seems to take over my thinking in relation to food. No, that's true. And it's true. Someone does kind of take over. It's like that for all of us. We all go into different, in and out of different trances all day and night. And so we need to recognize what those trances are and then begin to work on them, you know? Yeah, here we go. Yeah, I was on Instagram. Was there anything because I missed it? Yeah. So just back to how long they've been working on the diets, 40 years, 35 years, 20 years, yo-yoing. Yeah. So next 1 year straight, no weight loss until 3 months ago. That's great. Then great job. You know, way sticking to it and way to kind of trigger things. Yeah, he says 42 years old, brain injury, celiac, mom of 2, hormonal. Find these blessings and not excuses. Mario, you can reprogram your brain anytime with any challenges. Well, he's saying it's. I agree with her. Okay, no matter what your situation is, we can figure it out. We can make it work for you. You know, for real. Like, because it's all about, again, that's the dieting thing right off the bat that's wrong, is this idea that some plan that was created by someone who doesn't know you, that you don't know, that they're going to come up with a magical plan that you're going to follow forever, is so silly. I always say, like, you'll let me tell you what to eat, you think, but you would never let me tell you how to dress, what music to listen to, what movies to watch. Would you? You're your own person. You got your own likes and dislikes, preferences, lifestyle, all this stuff, right? So it's like, if you wouldn't let me tell you how to do those things, you're going to let me tell you how to eat, though? I don't think so. So again, this isn't about someone telling you what to do and then you trying to force yourself to do it. It's about figuring out what you want to do. And if you go about it that way, it's like success is guaranteed. Literally. If you'll give yourself more time than you've been giving yourself and building around who you are as a person, instead of just, I always say, like, the dieting is kind of like you're trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. You know, it doesn't work. Yeah, because it says be open to reassessment and reevaluation can be life-changing. Yeah, of course, right? Biggest thing for programming yourself then. Serving sizes maybe for a gerbil. You can't believe when you do the research. Yeah, for sure. Serving sizes and what you think are, I guarantee if you haven't studied nutrition labels, you're going to freak out when you start noticing serving sizes. But sir, that whole thing's all bullshit. I don't want to get to that right now, but it is. Victoria says, why is that goofy? I'm trying to help people. It's goofy, Victoria, because it's just so simplistic, you know? And it's like, I mean, it's just so simplistic. And I appreciate you wanting to help people. I literally had someone yesterday doing the same thing. And I know your intentions are good. Victoria says, I just can't imagine charging people to help them lose weight, but it's really simple, isn't it? Victoria, do you think it's really simple? Do you think it's so simple that that's why 72% of the population is overweight or obese? Do you think it's so simple that all the smart, intelligent, successful people I work with that haven't been able to figure out their weight, it's so simple, they just haven't, why haven't they been able to figure it out? Because they didn't know they should eat a little less bread? I'm not picking on you because I know you've got a good heart probably, but it's just, even right off the bat, just if I just told you what to eat, it wouldn't help you at all, folks. I mean, that's what the entire diet, entire diet experience has been, people telling you what you should eat and what not to eat. And then you try and get yourself to do it. And you can't get yourself to do it for very long, is what it comes down to. So really, it's a lot less about, it's not, I mean, knowing what to do is important, but it's a lot less about knowing what to do. And it's a lot more about, how do I get myself to do this? Let me frame it. It's a lot more about behavior change than it is knowing what behaviors to change and what to change them to. Right? Because you could get a book on nutrition. It gives you all the wisdom and knowledge of what you should do. That doesn't mean you're going to do it. There's nutritionists that are overweight that I work with. You know, there's doctors that are overweight. It's not a knowledge thing. Although doctors don't know much about nutrition anyways. But yeah, telling someone that they should eat less bread, it's kind of insulting, to be honest. I feel insulted by it. It's insulting. Like, if someone's just going to eat less bread and they would just lose weight. And I'm not saying it hasn't worked for you, but I promise you, Victoria, there's way more going on than you just eat less bread. You know, it's probably the way it's your genetics. It's how you were raised. It's the people you grew up around. It's the situations you grew up in. It's how you think, you know, and I'm happy for you that it's all worked out that way. But just telling someone who's overweight, struggling their weight, to just eat less bread is fucking pointless. You know? And again, I don't know you, but I was saying this yesterday. It's like telling someone who's, you know, struggling with money this month, hey, just work harder. Just work harder. Just do things that create more value. You know what I mean? Like, simplistic answers are frustrating because obviously there's more to it. That's why the diet industry, I hate it. I hate it because it's literally every diet is one simple thing you have to do. Just stop eating carbs. Just stop eating for 16 hours. Oh, just count your points. Just track your calories. Just eat 1,200 calories, right? It's always one simple thing to do. Yeah. How simple is it when you try and do it though? Because the flip side of all of those things I just mentioned is you have completely changed the way that you're eating and living and thinking. And that's not that easy, It's like, I'm not picking at Victoria, but I think we need, yeah, Victoria says, oh my God, 70% is insane. Sure. So honestly, I'm not sure why, but it just seems crazy knowing how bad it is for your health, yet not changing anything. You seem very nice. Sorry, not being mean, just confused. No, I get that, Victoria. I'm not, and believe me, if I thought you were being obnoxious, I would respond differently. But I know you mean well. I know people that are naturally thin. Is it's like, I'll just say right off the bat, right? You think of things differently. And this is what I've noticed because I've really built this whole program. Everything I'm saying to you really is built on the backs and shoulders of people that have lost weight and kept it off long term. But I've also studied people that have just naturally thin. Okay. And so I think the secret is that you start to realize more levels of what leads to someone's weight. And so even just you say it like, for example, that like, it seems crazy knowing how bad it is for your health, yet not changing anything. So you have internalized on some level, you associate your weight with your health in a strong way. And a lot of people do not. They know on a logical level it's not good, but they haven't internalized it. It's the difference between someone who's a smoker and someone who's not a smoker. You know what I mean? Or someone who was a smoker and now they're not. Well, when you were smoking, you knew the cigarettes weren't good, but you didn't really internalize it. And once something probably happened and trace, holy shit, I really got to change this. Now you internalized it. And we all have this in different areas of our lives. There's things you kind of like, yeah, whatever, I'll get to it. And then all of a sudden it's like, you know what, this is really serious. I got to do this, So for you, Victoria, you internalize it. You internalize it and it makes a difference. Have you yourself been fat or do you just study this stuff to help others? No, I was 50 pounds heavier. Now I grew up thin, you know what I mean? So it's like, I feel very fortunate in that way. We all have strengths and weaknesses, and I absolutely had strengths. Growing up thinner absolutely was helpful. Honestly, having my father die at 54 of a heart attack was helpful. Putting weight on, knowing all that stuff was helpful. Coming across it. Now it wasn't growing up thin that helped me master my weight, because growing up thin, I was 50 pounds heavier. So that wasn't what helped me out. It was the being exposed to hypnosis, NLP, hypnosis, yoga, meditation, starting to study people that successfully lost weight, being obsessed with this. That's what gave me control of my weight. Even to the point, like 12 years ago, I got lost in the sauce a little bit in life. Life went crazy and I put 25 pounds on very quickly. So again, I think I'm in a unique spot because I do understand both sides of things. And so I think it allows me to have more sensitivity with people that are struggling and to understand the deeper levels of it. It's never enough to say, oh, you're overweight. Oh, well, let me, that's why I don't like dietitian and nutritionists. I respect them. I know they think they're doing good work and it's valuable in what it does, but it ain't going to help you lose weight. I know a number of you seen nutritionists and dietitians, you got a customized meal plan. How'd that work out for you? Great for a week or two. Then you didn't do it. So again, it's not knowing what to do. It's how do I get myself to do this consistently? That's the challenge. And we all struggle with that at some point. Because Victoria, I guarantee you there's something in your life you want to do or you want to stop doing that there's something you want to do that you haven't started doing, or there's something you don't like that you do that's harmful to you that you keep doing. Guaranteed. And from studying those things will give you a lot of insight and make you a lot more understanding of what's going on here. Guarantee there's some area of your life like that, Yeah, you're right. My mindset might be off. I always judge overweight people in my life because I just can't understand it. Well, now this is an interesting conversation because I think that's why, I literally had someone yesterday saying the same stuff and they said it was the laziness thing. And I promise you it's not fucking laziness. It's not, because you've been led to believe that for you to lose the weight, you got to do this crazy fucking diet. You got to do this crazy exercise. You got to do this crazy shit that's overwhelming. You got to do it all starting tomorrow perfectly. And so it sets you up for failure. It's not a lazy thing. It's a fucking dumb strategy thing. I always say the way you try and lose weight would be like if I said, oh, you want to learn piano? You really serious? Yeah, I want to learn piano. Okay, then you got to play 10 hours a day every day. Okay, well, that's great. Maybe the first day, the second day you wake up, your fingers are cramped and you hate the fucking piano. And that's what you're doing to yourself with the weight loss. So it's not a laziness thing. It's a fucking horrible strategy thing. And I get out here to try and, show that. that if some overweight person all of a sudden thought like you did, Victoria, about what it's doing to your body and the health impacts of it, you internalize that, yeah, they'd probably start eating differently. That's what I help them do, is I help them create a mindset shift. But I'm not sitting there saying, hey, you fucking guys, you're lazy. That's the David Goggins stuff. You know what I mean? Come on, you're being fucking lazy. Do you want it or do you want it? Come on, I don't hear you. Do you want it or do you want it? You know, it's like, oh my God. Oh my God. If you want to live like that, that works for you, I'm not judging it. But come on, folks. I know my peeps out there. We're not living like that. We don't want to live like that. And you don't have to live like that. So it all kind of rolled up. But again, it's just a lot of ignorance in general, from people that are overweight and people that are under, at their normal weight, about the whole thing. We've all been led to believe bullshit about it. And at least as far as I think, and maybe I'm wrong, so I don't know, but at least it's a different perspective on things, Yeah, and actually, I already started to give it a little more grace. That helps tremendous with the guilt. Thanks for answering our question. Yeah, great job. Now, so you heard what I'm saying. So I think you're going to get it. What about Ozempic? I mean, Ozempic's Ozempic. I think if you don't want to do any of the work we're talking about here, I think if you don't want to change up your eating, your lifestyle, your mindset, and you just want to lose weight, I think Ozempic's probably the best thing you could do. Okay. Not hating, you know what I mean? It's not what I would do. I prefer a weight mastery. I want to get this problem by the root and fix the core problem and resolve it forever and not be on medication if I don't have to be, and that's my clients too. But Ozempic is no questioning that it's a effective way. If you don't want to put any of that work in, it's probably the most effective and maybe only way you would ever lose weight. But Victoria says, I was a little fat as a kid, but then my mom didn't give me any bread and pastries, so I lost weight. Now I just avoid it always. Well, there you go. So that's what I'm saying, Victoria. Again, you had a mom that recognized that, did that to you. It worked for you. Now, again, you could have had a brain that your mom did that and you rebelled against it and you snuck food and bread whenever you could. And now you're an adult and you're sneaking bread whenever you can because you're reliving that same process over again. So again, this is the reality of life, that we're not just, it's not like, oh, I can just, hey, you stop eating some bread. It's not that easy for people because it's not a question of the bread thing. It's a question of the underneath thing, so there's always a lot more to it. When you start looking at it that way, it really is helpful. Not being able to understand is like not being able to empathize, tunnel vision and myopic. It is, Vicky. But I would also say that on the flip side, I think that people that are sound judgmental, like we have yesterday, someone's like, oh, it's just laziness, or, you're just being lazy about it. I think people like that need to be educated about how to see things in a wider thing as well. You know what I mean? I think all of us constantly, this was back to Moses last week, which was one of the greatest moments of my podcasting career. But I think it's about, we all look at things a certain way. We're all wrong constantly about different things. It's just figuring out which ones. And so I don't think in any way that I know everything at all. I'm always on the lookout for what I don't know. And that's why I always say, I think that's the biggest skill in terms of change. Again, it's that quote I always read. What do I read to you guys? And I don't know why I can't remember it. It's because it sounds funny. I literally have, as I save it so much. But it's the Mark Twain quote that goes, it ain't what you don't know that gets you into trouble. It's what you know for sure that just ain't so. And I think about that every day, because it's the things we believe that aren't true that really kind of limit us. And it's true for everyone, whether you're judging overweightness in a simplistic way or whatever, it's all the same stuff, So I love getting ready, I love illuminating my own ignorance, it makes me happy. Rock says, how do you recommend people start? Well, what I would recommend for anyone that wants to start, what I'm talking about is click the link in my bio, get the hypnosis session, watch the video I made for you. It's all free. Read the emails I send you and start just exposing yourself to a different way to think about your weight. Okay. I think that's the secret. And, And so I know you want me to just tell you like what to do. The next best thing is just like start by focusing on your worst eating habit, isolate it, acknowledge it, understand it, stalk it, understand the granular details of it, the pattern base of it, what triggers it, and then go to work on fixing it. Now, that doesn't mean much without all the foundational knowledge. So I would strongly recommend go listen to the hypnosis session, watch the video I made for you guys. It's all free. And I give you all sorts of free stuff too. I got a program too. If you're really serious and motivated, you can get that as well. But I give you lots of free shit as well to get started, Julie says, my mom made me eat fruit and cottage cheese when I got a little chubby as a kid. I rebelled and found ways to sneak candy, still getting a thrill from sneaking chocolate. See what I mean? So again, back to what you were saying, Victoria. Again, it's there's so many factors. A parent could do the same thing, but depending on what mindset that hits, a person could respond completely different. So it's just we got to zoom out and look at the whole thing in context. Such an important thing to do. Yeah. Moses says. Moses says, oh, wait. Yeah. Yeah, Moses. Okay, yeah. So true, Jim. I'm freaking out right now. What am I even eating? I know that. I know all your diet or minds better than you all do. I'm like a dieting psychic. I literally am. I know what you all are thinking and gonna do ahead of time. I'm studying this shit. Anyone could do it if you studied it like I did. But it's true. But once you know that stuff, that's then you can fix it though. Yeah, here's I love that stuff. There is all worse, better, and best. Don't strive for perfection. Yeah, listen to Carrie's. She's 100% right. Moses says, you've changed my whole life in these last couple of days already. No, I believe it, Moses. And that's simply because, again, it's really all just comes down to, like, I keep saying this, but it's so true. It's like, how do you respond when you realize one of the things you're thinking is completely wrong? How do you respond to that? The vast majority of people, and I know this because I know I see numbers and stuff. People hit my lives all the time. The vast majority just bounce out, And so I know I'm saying this isn't what they usually think. And to think what I'm saying is like, then everything they've thought is wrong. And now it starts getting the sunk cost bias, which is a bias we all have. When we've invested a lot of time, energy, or money into something, or all three, we start to like overvalue it. We say, okay, it's got to be this way. It's got to be this way. If it's not this way, what the fuck have I been doing? And that regret is really hard to overcome. And so I would say the first hurdle a person has to get over, with me anyways, is, holy shit, he's telling me all my dieting stuff, everything I've been doing to lose weight is fucking wrong. And now I've wasted all that time, energy, and money. And that is such a hard thing to deal with. So that's always the first kind of litmus test of whether you'd be able to work with my stuff or not. And so you amazingly, you flipped it real quick. And so that, to me, because that's the process just over and over. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I've just gone through that so many times with so many different foods, with so many different beliefs I have, and it just keeps continuing. It doesn't change. There's what you're, especially like anything you're struggling with in life. I go at it now like, okay, it's the way I'm thinking about it is the problem. And trying to recognize that is the hard part, because I'm inside of it. They always say it's hard to read the outside of the pill bottle when you're inside the bottle, right? So it's like we're inside it, so it's hard to get context and perspective on it. So that's what Program Yourself is literally built, to give you perspective on things, because once you realize something, then you can fix it. It's gaining awareness of it's the hard part. So anyway, so again, I'm not surprised, Moses, that you feel like your life's changed so much, because I'm doing what I'm doing, but you're doing the other part where you're taking it in, and you're not letting the regret or the overwhelm or the nervousness or the stress kick you off the path. So I'm proud of you, Moses, for real. Yeah, Moses makes you want to cry. The aha moments. And they do. The aha moments, Carrie. That's exactly it. I'm so addicted to the aha moments. That's what I'm trying to tell you. The thing right now that leads to overwhelm. Oh my God, what the fuck am I going to be like anything? Am I going to understand any of this? You start, that's just the beginning phases of anything. It feels overwhelming. But then you get to this place where you start to feel a foundation under you. And then it's the aha moments, and they come less frequently. You miss them, right? Because those are kind of the easy wins, to be honest, how you start to look at it. But now I'm just addicted to the big aha moments of like, shit I thought was right, that was completely wrong. And I love them, because I know that's the thing that's going to progress me the farthest, the fastest now. So yeah, it's exactly like that. It just says, are all of your clients successful in weight loss? Just wondering. Thanks. I can't answer that. I'm kind of done answering that. I mean, there's a percentage of people that lose a certain amount of weight in 8 weeks, and there's just so many ways to measure success that I've kind of just stopped. What I will say is that anyone that uses the program, when they use the program and the concepts within it and implement at least the Program Yourself Thin technique, as long as they're using that daily, I've never seen anyone that's not getting the results, because it's learning stuff. You know what I mean? So it's just hard to explain that. I mean, everyone that uses the program that I work with, like I could say coaching wise, because I see these people, everyone that shows up for the coaching calls, every single one of them ends up in a better place. 100%. 100% of people that I'm able to coach. And then there's people in the program, I don't get to see them all the time. So it's harder for me to say. I give, I have feedback things set up, but it's not 100% of people respond to them. So it's just, again, I could give you stats, but they're bullshit. To be honest, I mean, they really are, is what I think. So again, people that put the work in, I see 100% success. There's no way you can't fail. Like, you know, I literally, because even when you screw up and your weight goes up, you learn why that happened and you resolve it. So it's just one of those things, you know what I mean? When you use it 100% works is what I see. Heather says, sad to miss the call tonight, but really focusing on how I feel and not having a scale is so freeing. Yeah, Heather, I hope you're safe over there. The warning's still going on? Is it still happening? Yeah, Paul said, my dad used to say, push yourself away from the table. Yeah, and again, all these things can be good or bad. I don't know. Like, it's just how we frame them, internalize them. That's kind of the big thing. Victoria says, sorry, I was very ignorant. You're amazing. Oh, thank you, Victoria. And again, I appreciate, I meet you guys all where you're at, even if you come at me aggressively, Moses, but that's okay. I like that too. But it's just funny. Anyways, Sheila says, hi, Jim. I'm in PYT. Are the coaching calls different from the live calls? Yeah. Sheila, you got on one of the coaching calls, didn't you? I thought I gave you one of the coaching calls. The one that was on Zoom where I worked with you. Wasn't that you I worked with? I could have sworn that was you. But yeah, the coaching calls they're a lot different. Again, what can I do? I can only coach with so many people. So yes, it is. I tell you this to just set frames though, but it's $25,000 to work with me privately with a package. It's $2,500 work with me one session. So the coaching calls, you know, it's $1,000 with the program. If you want to upgrade, I think it's $700 for 8 weeks, 2 calls a week. It's a tremendous value. And it's, again, when I get to know you and I work with you and I understand your situation, I'm personally coaching you. It's the best investment you can make in your weight and health that you can make. I mean, what can I say? You know, but again, I offer the program, which is really great. And with a live class, the class is, again, I do the class as a way for you to connect with me if you have questions, but you know, I can just only coach with so many people at a time. So that's why it costs more. I wish I could work with everyone, you know, but I just can't. But yeah, I remember that, Sheila. Yeah, I remember working with you. So yeah, if you ever want to upgrade, just shoot me a message and I'll help you with it. But they're different in the sense that, well, you experienced them both. So they're different in that sense. I mean, I spent a lot of time getting to know you and understanding you, and we work through whatever. And the live calls, you know, if you have questions, I'm there to kind of answer them, you know. Yeah, I know there is no upgrade. I haven't even put the upgrade up there. I just tell you, if you want to do that, shoot me a message and I'll shoot you a link. But that's getting fixed. I know. And not only that, but I forgot too, because I shut down the group coaching for a couple of weeks there. I took the option off because we're getting a few too many people, and in the summer is coming up, whatever. So I kind of shut it down. So actually right now is a great time to join the coaching because there's not a lot of people in it. And so I spent a lot of time with you. But anyways, yeah, if you're interested, shoot me a thing. Do you do coaching in the evening? Yes, we have coaching calls on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern. Thursday is at 3 p.m. Eastern. And so, yeah, I do the Tuesday one specifically for people, you know, to have it in the night. And those are both on Zoom, and those both happen. Yeah. Yeah. There goes Julie. Beginning weight loss was slow as I started eating healthier, now losing weight. Yeah. And that's how it goes. You know, nothing wrong with that. What's up, Don? You're on vacation in Lake Tahoe. Nice. About to hike to the peak. That sounds awesome. Enjoy yourself. That sounds great. Yeah. Metal Mama says it's an addiction. It is an addiction. It is. But, I'm trying to listen to you with kids, but I can't if you keep saying the F-bomb. I know. That's the hard part. I shouldn't swear because I know that, but you just can't stop swearing. I put an earbud in. Carrie says, Carrie, like this. Carrie's like my consigliere. She's my muscle in these lives. That's brilliant. That's a great suggestion. This live isn't for children. I guess it's true. I want it to be. I don't want to swear, but I just keep swearing. I don't know. I get so passionate about it. I just do. I didn't swear for a lot of years and a long time, but it just feels right. I swear a lot in my real life. I've sworn since I was one of the first kids to swear. I just swear a lot. I don't know. Is it the best thing in the world? I don't know. I love it. I really do. And I like it. I think it makes a point, and I just like doing it. And it makes me happy. And I know I turn some people off, but it's just a small price to pay. Danny says, hey, Jim, I appreciate your content a lot. Learning how to live like a thin and healthy person. Great job, Danny. I'm proud of you. Listen to the content. Good job. Which, by the way, follow me, everyone. If you don't follow me, make sure you follow me, because you never know when my videos might pop up and save the day for you. I hear that all the time, Moses says, what do you recommend for breakfast instead of my smoothies? I mean, where you're at, I think that, again, we could take it a couple different ways, Moses, because I don't want to just change everything all at once, because you won't stick with it. So you have kind of two ways you can go about it. You could make real smoothies. I don't know if you have a blender. You can make real smoothies. Smoothies was my main thing for a while before I upgraded to salads. But you could eat the same breakfast. You have fried eggs and bacon, just less of it, and just add some fruit to it. You could add some Ezekiel toast to things and still have eggs. You could have, natural oatmeal. Don't get caught up with the shit oatmeal. There's a lot of different things to go. I'll talk to you more about it tomorrow, but think about it, do a little research and run me some ideas, and I'll let you know. Moses says, oh my God, no, Jim, I wish you could forget how mean I was. LOL. That's not how I usually am. No, Moses, that shit was so funny to me. I'll always remember that. And I never care how anyone comes at me. I got in a fight with someone on Saturday night. I'm not a fighting guy. I'm really not. I like to, but it was very funny. But then I let it go too. That's something my wife taught me, I think, is that we get into, arguments, but everything kind of comes back to normal. And I find that very, I don't know, what's the word? Comforting, I guess. Anyways, but I don't mind that, Moses. I appreciate you. You're a straight shooter, and I appreciate it. Jim, I'm just about to fold and break my fast. That's probably good. I don't know how long you've been fasting for. I can't even say the word FAST most of the time. I'll get restricted. Carrie said I swear a lot too. Like my F is my favorite one. Me too. I like it. How long's the fast? Everyone wants to know how long the fast is. Let's find out, and then I'm gonna get out of here. Yeah, Vicky says it's refreshing. I feel like it's refreshing. They say that people that swear are smarter. I don't think that's true, but I do think that people, like when you hear someone swearing, it's off-putting a little bit at first, but I do think that it does signal that someone's being more honest. I do believe that, but that's not even the thing. To be honest, I have always sworn a ton more than everyone else. I've always just been the person who sweared, and I like to think of my swearing as, I don't just use it gratuitously, although I probably do sometimes, but I like it to make a point, and I think it does, and I enjoy it. And so there's that. And it just feels it's my natural way of communicating, to be honest. And especially now that my kids, least I swear it as an adult is I've had kids. My daughter's 18 and my son's 12 now, but the first 10 years of each of their lives, I really did my best to not swear much around them. And even my son's getting older, and it's like, oh, I can finally communicate to normal. I can finally say to him, are you being a fucking idiot, dude? Like, being able to say that to him feels like, okay, does it help? I don't know. Does he listen any better? I don't know. Anyways, actually, it's like the sun after a rainy morning if you just let a strange situation go. Oh, yeah, I like that. That's a good way to put it. Yeah. Yeah. Moses and I got off on the right foot, or on the wrong foot, I suppose, but I like it because it's an honest foot, right? Moses got on here and goes, you're full of shit. And but then he stayed and we went back and forth. And so it's like, I joke that I think that's a nice way to come off. It's better than, at least it's honest. Oh, that's funny, Julie. You're funny. She goes, every day I pretend I'm on a Zoom call to client in my office to be on this call. That's awesome. Management thinks I have a foul mouth client. That's funny. Did we ever find out, Just Jay, how long her fast was going on? I'm only at 48 hours. My goal is 72. Come on, don't break it. 72. 72 is for babies, Just Jay. You want to lose that weight? I'm going to see if I can get restricted here. Let's see if I can do it. If you want to lose weight, you got to not eat for at least 172 hours. If you were serious, you wouldn't eat anything for another 100 hours. No, that'd be 148 hours. Another 124 hours. Just Jay, you're not even kidding. You're not serious. You don't want to lose weight. You're just joking. You don't care about your body. You don't care about how you look. You don't want to be a size, whatever size you want to be. Just kidding. Again, Just Jay, if you're new here, I don't know. You could fast yourself for 200 hours. What are you going to do at the 201st hour when you start eating? What happens then? I usually don't like when people swear a lot, but it fits you, so it seems normal. Well, there you go. I feel like that's probably true. There's good and bad swearing. Does chia water help fat loss? Chia water. So it sounds fucking gross. It's like because I put I told you I put chia, which you missed is I couldn't think of chia earlier, but I'll put chia seeds in my smoothies, and it was weird. It turns into like a pudding almost, but I don't know. You drink put in water. Gross. So chia water may help fat loss, but it may be gross. But at the end of the day, there's nothing that is gonna help you. Like there's no magical thing that makes you lose weight. So I'm not saying that chia water or whatever may support you a little bit, but it's not enough. It's not the only thing, it grows in liquid. All right. Yeah. So I have a feeling what that must be like. What do you eat with a spoon? Is that like, remember they used to have the soup commercials? Like, oh, you eat with a spoon? Or you eat with a fork? I don't know. It's chunky. Maybe I'll eat it with a fork, but you can eat it with a spoon. Which one are you? So I don't know how you're going to eat your chia water. Cause is it like puddingy and is it puddingy? I like puddingy. What did I eat that's puddingy? Was it chia pudding? That's what it was. Well, my wife or my daughter made chia pudding. I thought it was pretty good. I liked it. Chia water. Oh, do you drink it? Do you drink that down? Because it's liquidy. Makes you feel fuller, so maybe you'll eat less. Yeah. Chia pudding, good. Chia water. The jury's out. We'll have to find out if people like chia water. Drinking that? Be drinking like pond water with algae in it. Spork it. There you go. Right down the middle. We'll spork it. Are you going to drink with a straw, a spoon? I don't know. Yeah, give it a shot and then we'll see. Next, I said just like a David imitator. Is that what you're saying? I don't even watch them much. That's the funniest part. I really don't watch that shit because I know now. It's like, I don't need that. Plus it'll trigger me. Like, yeah, I should do that. Yeah, you're right. I should run a marathon every day. You're right. I'm being lazy here, But I realize now I am lazy. David Goggins. Nope, I'm lazy. I'm not going to do it. Nope, I'm a loser. Nope, not going to reach my potential. I'm never going to hit my potential. That's one thing I know as a human. Not that way anyways. I'm never going to reach my muscle endurance potential. That's one thing I can promise you in my life. Never going to happen. We'll never know what Jim looks like at his full endurance and muscle potential. Yeah, it's a texture thing for sure. In Buddhism, they have this saying that you hold the hot coal. That's so. What is that? Oh, SB. What's SB mean? This saying you hold the hot coal that someone's throwing at you. Julie says they think clients are beating me up for better deals. That's funny. All right, I gotta get out of here. I gotta go eat a salad and do a class in 20 minutes. So I'll see you. Those of you who program yourself, then we get the live class coming up in 26 minutes, and can't wait to go over that because those classes are awesome. The one coming up is no exception. And it's a good one. So we'll see you all there. So thank you so much, everyone. I love you all. Thank you. Really appreciate it. You guys make great points. And I don't know. I really appreciate it. It's a pleasure doing these. Oh, somebody, I got you. Yeah. You hold the hot coal, somebody throws at you. Got you. Yeah. So put it down. That's a good one. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Again, if you're not in my world, go to my bio, click the link, get the hypnosis session, watch the video, read the emails. They're all free. Okay. And then listen to the podcast. It's every day. I started working with a new designer and he's like, you do a podcast every day? I was like, yeah, it's like an hour or 2 hours each. He goes, holy shit, how do you do it? So I don't know. I guess I just love it. What's up, Karen? Just love doing it. And so I get to speak with you all lovely people and hopefully help you, on the path you want to be on. So, and then that's everything, I guess. Yeah, follow me if you don't follow me. And then, have a super duper day and we will talk soon. Bye, everyone.